Hey, what's up, everybody? Good morning and happy Wednesday. Making a turn on this work week, the first week of June. DK Show up on the air on your radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM. Also available to tune in online at sportstalk1051.com. You got your app, download that, take it on the go. Your smart devices like Alexa, say, yo, Alexa, play WAYY. Video streams also up and rolling here this morning on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. And you can pop that up on your TVs, your phones, your computers, your tablets, whatever the case may be. But if you're already up and at it and getting some stuff done here this morning, appreciate you making us part of your start. If you're just getting going here, well, let's brew some coffee up and get going here. And what's on the game plan for us this morning? Brew Crew can't make it 9 in a row, falling last night to the Cincinnati Reds, although Bowers made it interesting almost with a home run there to tie it up at the end, but tip of the cap to Friedel, who made the robbing catch over the wall to secure the win for the Reds last night. I mean, sometimes you just got to tip your cap and acknowledge a great play, and that was a great play by TJ Friedel last night. So, but nonetheless, the Brew Crew falling in that 4-2 loss last night, snapping an 8-game winning streak for the Brewers. So the Crew will try to get a series win later on this afternoon, afternoon. First pitch is going to be a little after 11:30, so a little bit of an earlier game here today. So we'll recap last night's loss, look ahead to today's game, and see if the Brewers can pick up another series win before an off day tomorrow, and then returning home to take on the Padres for what should be, hopefully, a fun, interesting, and successful series for the Brewers. But that's not the only positive thing we're hoping for today. I mean, the dude just can't catch a flippin' break. Brandon Woodruff, in what probably could have been, might have been, should have been his final rehab start last night in the second inning, getting hit on the right elbow, line drive in last night's game, and having to leave the game in that second inning. And so x-rays negative, but it was a 108 mile an hour comebacker that struck him in the right arm. And the dude was so close to making that comeback, so close to potentially, maybe next week and such or whatever. And now we await to see if he's going to be out a little bit longer after this latest ordeal. You hope not. Again, x-rays negative, but he's supposed to be back in Milwaukee, returning to Milwaukee for more tests today. So, but son of a gun. I mean, dude's so close last month. Then he gets the ankle injury, and now a comebacker hit in his right elbow, his right arm. And it's like, this guy cannot catch a break for all of the work he is putting into. And from all accounts, the shoulder is good, but it's other stuff now. And in this one, especially in last night, it's something that he can't control. It wasn't even it wasn't something that he didn't roll an ankle or anything like that. It was a comebacker. Gosh, stinks, sucks, and just you feel bad for the guy. You really do. You feel awful for Brandon Woodruff. So again, hopefully it's nothing serious, and we're gonna see him here soon. But we'll keep you posted if anything does pop up throughout the morning and such on it. But yeah, what a blow from last night's game. So, or last night's rehab start. So we'll talk some baseball, talk some more Brewers and such throughout this morning and that. Packers OTAs, another week of OTAs, and we got to see a little bit of a glimpse from practice yesterday with some of the media in attendance there. and some of the players getting to talk to the media and such. So, and Matt LaFleur talking to the media too. So we're gonna go through that, but I want to talk about a couple of players here. Now, first of all, no Jair, no Welton Jenkins at OTAs. Quay Walker was not present at OTAs either. But again, these are voluntary OTAs in that. But we got to hear from Kenny Clark yesterday, and obviously Kenny Clark did not have a good year last year. I don't think that's too much of a hot take or anything like that. I don't think that was. I don't think we're speaking out of turn here. But Kenny Clark also let it be known yesterday that he did in January January he had surgery on his foot and said it was an injury that he suffered in week 1 in the Brazil game. Now, we had heard from some players and such, critiquing the field conditions over there. Now Kenny Clark was asked if the surface in Brazil contributed to his toe injury. Declined to answer that at that point. But, I mean, we could kind of connect some of the dots and such. But he also said he spent a good chunk of last year he did spend a good chunk on last year's injury report because of a toe injury. So he ended up having surgery on that in January. And now you kind of have to wonder how much did that affect his play last year. I think it probably did to a certain point. So hopefully this surgery that he had in January can kind of alleviate some of the pain he was going through. And hopefully, essentially, is what we're trying to get at here is we're going to see improved play from Kenny Clark this year, because let's make no mistake. I think Kenny Clark is entering a do it or leave it type of season for Green Bay. You look at the contract situation and such. He signed that extension at the beginning of last year, and you kind of look at how the cap hits play out in that. If we have a similar year to this year of Kenny Clark play like we did last year, I think they seriously have to think about maybe moving on from him, because are you getting enough value out of Kenny Clark? I mean, you look at some of the numbers. He only had 1 sack. He had his lowest tackle total since his rookie season. And he acknowledged yesterday that it was a tough year for him. But he said, I'm excited, back to doing individual drills, feeling better and such. So, I think this is a very, very, very crucial year, pivotal year, big year for Kenny Clark in terms of, just elevating his play, but maybe sticking around for Green Bay and such. And Green Bay definitely needs him to be that guy that we all expected that we were going to see last year from him. So was it the foot injury? Was it the toe injury that affected him that much? We can ponder and debate and speculate all we want about it at this point, but really we're not going to know until the season starts. And he's out on that field and hopefully wreaking havoc on the defensive line. Matt LaFleur also talking a little bit about Lucas Van Ness and the potential that maybe we're going to see Lucas Van Ness even lining up at defensive tackle in certain situations. Matt LaFleur acknowledging that they have given it some thought about potentially lining up Lucas Van Ness at defensive tackle in obvious passing situations. LaFleur saying yesterday, quote, yeah, I think situationally you can do that. I think in known passing situations, there's some thought around that. A lot of it's going to be dependent on everyone else as well. Lucas has shown a lot of growth, and I'm excited to see him once we get the pads on and really all those guys, how they compete. In today's world of football, the more versatility you show, it doesn't matter what phase we're talking about, but the more versatility, I think it's harder to prepare for. I think the challenge is there. There's a fine line in terms of what is too much. Yeah, you want to be versatile, but you want to get good at what you do as well. The more you do, the less time you have to have meaningful reps at it. So it's finding that balance there in terms of what is enough flexibility and versatility versus what what we can really get good at. Um, so I mean, your reaction to it, my reaction to it, okay. You know, we'll see. We'll see at that point. I think we all want to see first off Lucas Van Ness succeed as a defensive end pass rusher. I think we all want him to be good at that. If he is going to be a starter in a base 4-3, I think we want to see him succeed at that and see Rashawn Gary succeed at that. I mean, we all want to see the whole defensive line group be successful and be a dominant group up front. That's what we want to see. Whether it's a pass rush coming from the interior, from the outside, we want to see it at all levels and we want to see it at all phases. So, I mean, I'm all about versatility and finding ways to get after the quarterback if it just brings you 4 guys, 5 guys, whatever the case may be. But I think what's all said and done, we just want to see more improvement. We want to see better play, more consistent play from that whole front. And that includes guys like Lucas Van Ness, Kenny Clark, Rashawn Gary. We want to see it, Devontae Wyatt, healthy on that line of scrimmage and getting after the quarterback. So, but we'll talk some more green and gold coming up here in just a skosh. Some more stuff from OTAs and some more comments from some of the players at practice yesterday and what coach had to say as well. So we'll talk a little more green and gold coming up here. What else do we got on the dockets? We'll do some stock reports. We'll hit that up. Whose stock is rising, whose stock is falling. So we'll do that coming up here too. And if you want to make some Stanley Cup final picks, we got game 1 tonight, the Panthers and the Oilers. If you want to make your picks for that, who you riding with, you could do that. Hit us up with the text on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line at 715-830-1912. You can comment on the video streams as well, or hit us up on the socials. So who you riding with for the Stanley Cup final starting tonight? We'll hit that up too. And whatever else is on your mind, all right? Whatever else you got, let us know. Shoot me a text, all right? Who's going to get that armchair MVP for the day based off participation? Let's get things rolling here this morning. We'll get started with the leadoff. We got a little Brewers talk here, recapping the loss from last night, looking ahead. Let's start another winning streak tonight. All right, we'll talk a little Brandon Woodruff, and of course, we'll talk a little green and gold after some OTA stuff yesterday. Plenty to get to here this morning. Let's jump right into it. First break, and we'll really get things going with the leadoff coming up after these quick words.
buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code YEAR to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code YEAR for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code YEAR for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Broadcasting live from the TDS Sports Talk 105.1 studios, it's the Dan Kasper Show.
Blanking out what to do for lunch or dinner? Hey, don't stress about it. It's easy with Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. They've got daily meals, some fried chickens, maybe some Chinese food, some pizza, chef specials, huge selection of easy take and bake meals that are made fresh and in store daily. Plus, when they get those grills out, man, I swear we could smell it from miles away. I mean, gosh, that smells so good. Grills or smokers out. When they do, maybe grab some ribs, some pulled pork, chickens and such. Making plans for your meals just got a whole lot easier and tastier with the help from Hy-Vee in Eau Claire, especially when it's this time of year. Maybe you've got ball games going on or you're running around and such, and you just need a need a quick meal to get things, get something in the belly and such. Go visit our good friends at Hy-Vee in Eau Claire, and they've got the Dan Good Burgers back in stock behind the meat counter over there too. We just fried some of those up on the grill just this past weekend. Grilled some up on the grill this past weekend. So always some good stuff over at our good friends from Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. Hey, don't forget as well to sign up your team for the Kasper Classic, the 5th annual Kasper Classic at Lake Hallie Golf Course this year, Friday, August 1st. Just had a little powwow meeting yesterday with it. Excited about some of the stuff that we're going to be doing for the 5th annual Kasper Classic this year. So you want to make sure you get your 2-person team in by going to sportstalk1051.com. You can see the icon right there, right on the left-hand side. Get that 2-person team in. And before it's sold out, because it's on pace to sell out again for the 5th straight year. And this is our Backyard Dreams benefit. So a big thanks to our partners this year: Lake Hallie Golf, Park Ridge Distributing, Hy-Vee, Edward Jones, Financial Advisor Kelsey Nikolai, AJM Automotive Services, VFW Post 305, Economy Furniture, Myron Construction, Dodge, Carpet City Flooring Center, and Muldoon's Menswear. If you are interested, and maybe you're not a golfer, but you want to help support Backyard Dreams, either with a whole sponsor or with a raffle prize donation, because we want to just absolutely kill it this year with some raffle prizes, hit me up and we'll talk. Okay. And a big thanks for your help and your support this year. All right, let's talk a little Brew Crew here this morning as we get set to begin things. Brew Crew falling last night, ending their winning streak, and again, it's just kind of one of those plays. I mean, Frito, you got to tip your cap to the play that he made on robbing that Jake Bowers home run there that would tied it and such, maybe sending it to extra innings, who knows? But it was a heck of a play. From him. But, yesterday's game, Christian Yelich continues. I think the dude's just kind of in that zone right now. When you watch him, when you watch his ABs, his at-bats, I mean, he is just seeing the baseball incredibly well at this point. And, I mean, he probably could have had at least 3 hits. There was a great play by the second baseman on a hard hit ball by Yelich in the game last night. But, I mean, he opened up the scoring for the Brewers with an RBI, and he still finished with 2 hits. So it just, you could tell there's a confidence coming from Christian Yelich at the plate right now. He's in that zone. He is seeing the ball incredibly well, and he's hitting that ball hard. He's tattooing it, not just from his home runs, but some of his, line drives or some of his other hits. He's feeling it right now. And you just hope with Yelich that's something that can stay with him throughout the majority part of the season. Yes, we're going to have slumps. We're going to have highs and lows. That's what happens in a 162-game baseball season, for crying out loud. But right now, Yelich is feeling it. And you just hope that the Brewers can ride this right now. The fact that he is in this zone and he's hitting well, hopefully they can ride this and other guys join up with him, including, Sal Frelick again, home run. He's already career high, 4 home runs on the season for Sal Frelick. My guy, our guy, the greatest player in Major League Baseball right now. But dude's just Mr. Consistent, has been the most consistent player for this team, in my opinion, from opening day to where we're at right now on June 4th. I think he should be the all-star rep for the Brewers at this point. If you were to tell me who's the all-star rep, I think it should be Sal Frelick. I don't think it'll be Sal Frelick because I don't think he's got the name recognition yet. I say yet because I'm holding out hope that he will. But right now, this dude, and you look at it, he's 5'8". Okay, he's not the tallest guy. He's not the biggest guy. But boy, you don't run on that guy when he's trying. He could gun you out from right field to third. He can out hustle you. He plays the game the right way. I know you guys are probably getting tired of this, but I love watching 10 out there, watching Sal Frelick play baseball. So another home run for him last night, but just 5 total hits for the Crew outside of Frelick and Yelich. It was Terang again earlier on in the game, getting on base for Yelich to get that early RBI in the first. And but just 5 total hits, not a ton of scoring in this game. And this was something we kind of talked a little bit about yesterday. Could it be a little bit of a pitching duel between Peralta and Green? Green doesn't get the decision, but Peralta does get charged with the loss. 6 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned runs. Did set a season high of 9 strikeouts, but kind of like something that has always popped up with Freddie Peralta, the one mistake, right? The one mistake, and gave up that 2-run shot after the Brewers jumped out to a 2-0 lead after Sal Frelick's home run in the 4th. Gave up a 2-run home run in the bottom of the 4th, tie it up. And then, he pitches into the 7th and allows base runner on there. That's, he got charged with that run too, that go-ahead run and in the 7th. So it's Peralta. He's got a lot of good stuff when he's out there and he's wheeling and dealing and it's some powerful stuff. But there's always like a couple pitches, it feels like, not in every game, but in a lot of games where it's just some bad mistakes. And it feels like in a lot of these games too, where he's pitching in, it's that 1 or 2 mistakes that's just kind of enough to propel the other team to victory. So, but last night too, it was the first time the bullpen allowed a run in this stretch, in this winning streak. Had it from Anderson last night. It's the first time the bullpen gave up a run, and it was that home run. So, again, we've talked about it at length, how well the pitching staff, not only just starters, but the bullpen has been during this stretch. And at some point it was going to happen. You knew it was going to happen, but that was a big insurance run from the Reds last night in that bottom of the 8th inning. So Brewers, though, they'll try for the series victory later on today to wrap up this series going up against the Cincinnati Reds. Going to see a lot of Quinn Priester in this game. Going to see probably DL Hall in this game, very similar to what we saw a few days ago, where DL Hall was on Friday, where DL Hall got the start, pitched 3 innings. Quinn Priester comes in then and finishes it off, going the distance after that. Be awesome if we get the same type of performance from those guys, but we'll see. So DL Hall is listed as a starter, but again, expect Quinn Priester to come in after that, and then the Brew Crew will have the off day tomorrow, and before they get set to return home for a big series against the Padres. So, but not only are we hoping for a win today to secure a series win against the Reds, a lot of us are crossing our fingers and hoping and maybe even sending a little message up to the baseball gods that nothing is seriously wrong with Brandon Woodruff. I mean, this guy has got to be one of the most unlucky people, athletes, baseball players, whatever the heck you want to call it. But yesterday, and what might have been, could have been, probably was his final rehab start. Second inning, gets smoked in the right arm, elbow area from a 108-mile-an-hour comebacker. And it's just, he's had already a setback due to an ankle injury. And now we're potentially maybe looking at another setback. So, on one hand, positive that x-rays were negative, but he's returning to Milwaukee. He's going to undergo some more tests today. I mean, the big thing's going to be swelling, and, you hope it didn't hit direct contact on that elbow. I know, kind of look it up. It says elbow, it says arm and all that, but you hope that, we've all hit our funny bone, right? I don't know if it was on that funny bone. C-Bomb, if you're listening, some of the disgusting pictures you sent when you've like smoked your funny bone and like it just welts up in that big old bump on there and that. I don't know if it hit in that area, but gosh darn it, 108-mile-an-hour baseball coming at you and hitting in that area can't feel too good, for crying out loud. You hope there's just no muscle damage, no ligament damage, no structural stuff from that. Got to imagine it's going to be bruised. Got to imagine there's probably going to be a little bit of swelling in that. But hopefully it's nothing too serious that would keep him out long term. We'll hopefully, maybe find out some info today, later on today, maybe even after the game against the Reds when Pat Murphy talks, or maybe even before the game. But this guy, the adversity that he has faced, you go back to the end of 2023 and that awful shoulder injury to where, there was a serious question whether he was going to pitch again. And to the point that he got this year, all his rehab starts, from a shoulder perspective, has been nothing but positive news. Positive. And he suffers a setback due to an ankle injury. Has nothing to do with the shoulder. We were talking about potentially seeing him going up against the Twins in Milwaukee in May. And the ankle injury pushes it back. Now we were thinking, hey, possibly maybe next week. And now he gets hit with a comebacker. Something that has nothing to do with the shoulder injury. He has put in all this time. We're talking about a year and a half of waiting to get back on a major league mound. And it's just another roadblock. Again, hopefully nothing serious. Hopefully we'll find out some really good news, but I got to imagine it's probably going to delay it a little bit. At least a little bit. Pat Murphy, I thought a great quote from him after the game last night, talking about Brandon Woodruff. The guy's been through some adversity. This has been a long road back, but let's not forget, he's going to do great things. HE double hockey sticks, yeah, man. I love that last part from Pat Murphy. Let's not forget, he's going to do great things. Instead of, kind of ending on, yeah, he's been through a lot of adversity and he's been on a long road back, and it's unfortunate that he's got another roadblock. Instead of focusing on the negative, the downside, the sad part of it all, he flips the script, says, dude's going to do great things. Let's not forget about that. That's what you want from a manager. That's what you want from a coach. It may sound corny, but that's the mindset that Pat Murphy is trying to not only send out there to fans and media, but that's a message to Brandon Woodruff himself too. Hey, don't be down, man. You're going to be doing some great things. And that you are still going to be a focal part, a pivotal part of this team going forward. May sound corny to a lot of people, but it's exactly the right message. As C-Bomb sent over, I'm telling you, no way I could have pitched after banging my elbow like that. Yeah, I don't know, man, if it's going to swell up like your disgusting picture you sent a while back. I don't know if it's going to have a knob on there where it looks like you busted your elbow and there was a bone sticking out, but I don't think anybody could do anything if it looked like that. Before we take a quick break and talk a little green gold, Donnie with text, going forward with Joey Ortiz at shortstop has been a real detriment for the Brewers offense. Twice with bases loaded in the past week, he has done nothing. What should the Brewers do? Donnie, I don't think they could do anything at this point. I mean, they don't have a guy that's ready in AAA to come up and play at the major league level. They don't. Unless it's a trade somewhere. You know, I guess we can't rule that out necessarily. But, you know, you look at his defense. He's an A-plus defender. And we know that the Brewers and Matt Arnold and the such has always said they, you know, was it last year or 2 years ago that they weren't going to sacrifice defense for offense? There's no question. I think Joey Ortiz, when you talk about players for the Brewers this year that have been one of the more disappointing performances or been one of the more disappointing players, you could throw Joey Ortiz in that category, specifically when it's come to the offensive side. It's just I don't know right now what else they could do because they don't have that guy that is ready to come up and, you know, at the AAA level and play meaningful games at the major league level. So unless it's via trade somewhere, you know, flashback to a few years ago. They traded our good friend JP Fireisen to Tampa Bay for a guy named Willie Adames. And at that point, a lot of us, because JP was a friend of the program, we've had him on there, local kid. Like, dang it. I mean, it was just a great story. JP playing for the Brewers, hometown, you know, home state team and that. Willie Adames ended up being a fantastic move for the Brewers. So, I mean, could they do something similar to that? Possibly. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Brewers aren't ready to fully give up on Joey Ortiz right now since he was a part of the Corbin Burns trade from last year. I don't think they're at that point. But, yeah, I mean, right now, Ortiz this year, 183 average, on base of a 259, OPS of a 506. Struck out 3 times last night. 3 ABs, 3 strikeouts. It's just not clicking at the plate right now for Ortiz. All right, we got to take a quick break. We'll wrap up the first hour. We'll talk a little great gold, a little OTA stuff from yesterday. Let's hit that up. Coming up after these quick words.
The Dan Kasper Show will be right back.
A lot of folks around here are breathing easier because of Grace Home Respiratory. They appreciate that Grace Home Respiratory is a local company that puts customer service first. They appreciate that Grace Home Respiratory provides an array of medical equipment, services, and supplies to help their recovery and enhance their quality of life. They appreciate that Grace Home Respiratory has the experience and qualifications that exceed their expectations. So when you need home medical equipment and services, turn to Grace Home Respiratory not only for the equipment you need, but for their dedicated staff of respiratory therapists who are on call 24 hours a day. To find out more, call Grace Home Respiratory at 715-832-7377 or online at ghr-ec.com.
Grace Home Respiratory always has your health and safety as their top priority. Your expert when it comes to medical equipment and supplies. Choose Grace Home Respiratory.
LPI in Eau Claire is looking for a field service technician, someone who's mechanically inclined, loves problem solving, and enjoys traveling across the country.
Another thing I really love about working here is the coworkers. They're great.
This role offers competitive pay, a 35% travel premium, and you can even keep your airline and hotel rewards. If you're looking for a company where you're more than just a number, where people know your name, visit plankenterprises.com/careers. Apply today at plankenterprises.com/careers.
This update sponsored by UW Credit Union. For every stage of life, UW Credit Union is here for every you. Don't miss an extra special Bryce Terang Platinum Glove Brewers Bobblehead giveaway on July 26th, courtesy of Wintrust, Wisconsin's Bank. The first 25,000 fans through the gates will collect the bobble. Get your seats now at brewers.com/giveaways. Join UW Credit Union at uwcu.org, insured by NCUA.
Warmer weather means more time on your feet. Make sure every step feels great. Whether it's running, walking, or working, proper support matters. The Shoe Doctor carries a wide selection of supportive shoes, custom insoles, and footwear solutions designed for comfort and performance. Stop in to find the right fit for spring and summer activities. The Shoe Doctor, helping feet feel their best season after season. Visit the Shoe Doctor today at 2321 East Claremont Avenue or online at shoedoctoreauclair.com, where comfort starts. Get ready to save with half-off deals. A great way for you to get goods and services that you will love and you don't have to pay full price. Be sure to check out all the great savings that half-off deals have to offer. There's something for everyone, so be sure to see for yourself. Be ready with your credit or debit card and get ready to save. For more details and to find out about all the savings, just go to aroundthe715.com.
You want to feel important.
You want to be part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things.
You want to feel like you belong.
We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it.
We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers.
We are normal people just like you. But our part-time service in the Army National Guard means we get to be more.
When our communities are in need, we get the chance to stand up and do something about it.
We get to serve in our own region and help the people we call neighbors.
From the lakeshores of Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota,
the fertile fields of Indiana, Illinois, and Iowa, to the wide open plains of North and South Dakota,
we are here for our hometowns.
And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Sports Talk 105.1 is your home for the great outdoors. Outdoor reports, outdoor tidbits with the DNR, photos, and more. Visit our outdoor community at sportstalk1051.com.
Was just at VFW Post 305 yesterday at Star Avenue. Shout out, good to see Mark and Donna and some of the other crew over there. But I got to tell you, some weekly specials, some new stuff coming over at VFW Post 305 going on right now. Mac and Cheese Mondays, baby, featuring different mac and cheese recipes every week. Doesn't that sound good right now, actually? Heck yeah, it does. Taco Tuesdays, you got Wing Wednesdays, Slider Thursdays, Friday Fish Fry, Saturday homemade pizzas, and then for today, Wednesday lunch special, meatball sub with JoJo's. Heck yes, thank you Somebody else calls them JoJo's and not potato wedges. But also put this on your calendar. Sunday, June 29th, Yappy Hour. It's from 3 to 5 p.m. VFW Post 305 patio. Humans, $20 a person, includes 2 drinks and an appetizer platter. Why do we say humans? Because the dogs are free. Pups are free. Includes free homemade dog treats. Please bring a donation for the ECCHA, such as blankets, dog or cat food, toys, etc., etc., etc. Sign-up sheet is at the bar at the VFW Post 305, located on Star Avenue in Eau Claire. All right, let's finish up the hour talking a little green and gold here this morning. So OTAs, another week of OTAs going on for the Pack, and to no surprise, no Jair, no Elton Jenkins again. There was no Quay Walker at practice. That was open up to the media yesterday. But some of the media got a chance to talk to some of the players, including one, Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark revealing that he had surgery yesterday, had toe surgery, or not yesterday, but revealed it yesterday that he had surgery in January on his foot, on his toe, from an injury that he suffered in week 1 in Brazil, and pretty much, blamed the turf and that was something that we had heard about shortly afterwards from the game about the field conditions and that. But I said it definitely, insinuated that affected his year last year. And I mean, you look at it, we know Kenny Clark had an awful year. Let's just call a spade a spade. His year last year was awful. I don't think there's any, sugarcoating it or anything like that. He was not a good football player last year. And he was definitely a disappointment when, especially you factor in, he got a new contract last year before the season began. Maybe it was the injury that affected him. Who knows? We could speculate, we could debate, we could banter, we could talk about it, we could point the finger and all that. But we'll really find out once the season begins this year and we get to games on the field that actually matter to see if that toe injury was that big of a difference. I hope it was, because this is a big year for Kenny Clark, especially when you look at it from a cap situation and such. For next year, this could be a make it or break it year for Kenny Clark in his tenure with the Pack. I mean, I thought Kenny Clark last year, heading into last year, was going to be one of the biggest benefactors from a 4-3 defense, and he did not benefit from that. He was kind of non-existent in a lot of instances. I mean, he put up his lowest sack or lowest tackle total since his rookie year, only 1 sack last year. He was a quiet guy. Wasn't very dominant on the defensive line that we kind of all thought he was going to be. So hopefully he's feeling 100% healthy when the season begins. And hopefully that surgery from his foot, will propel him to be a big-time impact player on this defensive line. And then Matt LaFleur yesterday talking a little bit about Lucas Van Ness, and said, a couple quotes from him. I just think there's a different confidence level with him this year. And some of the reporters yesterday noted that Van Ness took some reps at the interior defensive line, and LaFleur said, quote, yeah, I think situationally you could do that, talking about him maybe getting some reps at defensive tackle. I think in known passing situations, there's some thought around that. A lot of it's going to be just dependent on everybody else as well. My reaction to that is, okay, sure. But the thing is I want better play from Lucas Van Ness overall. I want better play from him as a 4-3 defensive end if that's where he's going to be slated as a starter. I want better play from him overall. I want him to get after the quarterback. Okay? I want him to get after the quarterback. I hope Lucas Van Ness doesn't develop into a player where you're talking about he's just coming on the field in obvious passing situations on 3rd down and playing interior pass rusher. This is a first-round pick that we've invested in. And if it ends up being where he's just a situational player, where he's playing like 30 snaps a game and it's just pass rushing situations from the interior, that's a failure of a pick. I want to see him develop into an overall solid defensive end, along with Rashawn Gary. I want to see Kenny Clark improve this year. I want to see Devontae Wyatt stay healthy this year. This is one of the biggest question marks entering this season. We won't know any answers in training camp or preseason, in OTAs, mini camps. We're not going to know any of that. They're going to look good in shorts. They're going to look good in practice, going up in individual drills. But until they suit up for week 1 against the Lions and get this season going here, it's going to be a big question mark whether this defensive front can step up and perform and be a solid unit on the field. Great. They had the 8th most sacks in the league last year. Cool. But this is an example, again, of box score scouting. Somebody sees that and be like, oh, great, awesome. Anybody who watched those games last year knows, though, that there was a lot missing from that pass rush. That it wasn't to the level that we wanted it. And you listen to LaFleur and you listen to Jeff Hafley, and they acknowledge that too. The biggest goal from this year is to get home with 4 rushers, to get those extra defenders in the secondary. That's the goal. That's the type of defense Hafley wants to play with. But if that front 4 that is full of first-round draft picks still struggle to beat their one-on-ones, still struggle to generate pressure, and we got to bring extra blitzers, whether it's from Quay Walker or Edrin Cooper or Keyshawn Nixon from the secondary or Javon Bullard or Xavier McKinney or whoever the heck it is, that's not the style of defense that we want to play with and ultimately probably are going to succeed with. So great. You're finding versatility with Lucas Van Ness. Awesome. You could do that. Great. But I still want to see the guy succeed as a base 4-3 defensive end. If that's where he's going to be suited up and being a starter at, I want to see him succeed there. This is a first-round pick from a couple of years ago. He's entering his 3rd year. We got to see that growth from that department. We got to see it from a lot of guys in that defensive front. More versatility, the better. Awesome. But let's make sure that, hey, we're not just focusing on that, and we're working on improving as a typical defensive end too. No offense to Kiki Inagbare and such. I want Van Ness. I expect Van Ness to be that guy because he is a first-round pick, because you've invested that pick in him. He better be the guy, and he better be a guy who's succeeding at defensive end. Sean Gary better be a guy who's succeeding at defensive end. You've invested that amount of capital in that front 4. It's time that those guys step up and be that dominant front. And right now, we can banter about it. We can debate about it. It's June. We got a couple months yet of doing this. We won't know those answers until September and it's kickoff. And hopefully they start the season off with a bang going up against Detroit. It'll be a good test early. It'll be a really good test early. And I hope they're up for it. And I hope they pass that test. All right, coming up next hour, we'll get back to more baseball talk here too. Brewers first pitch for today's game is actually just about 4.5 hours from now. So a little early day game. You can catch out that game, listen to it on the radio dials. If you're stuck at work, get your radios out and tune to 105.1 FM, 790 AM, or maybe you're in the vehicle all day for work and such. Make sure you've got those radio dials tuned in so you can listen to today's game where hopefully the Brewers can get another series win. So we'll get back to some more Brewers chats as we wrap up this series with the Reds. And definitely keep it posted if we do see or hear anything about Brandon Woodruff and such. So, again, fingers crossed. Joe Boo, if you're listening, man, we'll get you some rum, cigars, whatever you need. Just help out Brandon Woodruff right now so that he's A-okay. Just whatever we got to do, okay? If Joe Boo needs a refill, we'll get you a refill. Just make sure that there's nothing seriously wrong, that we do not get some awful news today surrounding Brandon Woodruff. All right? So, plus stock reports, we'll get to that coming up a little bit later on. Speaking of drinking rum, Morgan, good morning.
Hey, you know what? One thing I'll tell you is if your name is Morgan, you can't even smell rum. You know how many handles of that I got as birthday gifts in my 20s?
Oh, I can imagine.
Oh, there's only so much you can take, man. Only
when
so
you
many.
were in Boston, were you a big Sam Adams, or what was your 20s college type
Oh
of
God,
beverage?
what a haze. It was a blast. I'll tell you that. We had fun in Boston.
Yeah.
But yeah, I drank some Sam. See, I still drink it for nostalgia reasons.
Yeah.
Like I like it because it reminds me of college. But similarly, like if I can get my hands on a Yingling,
Oh, yeah.
I like Yingling.
Okay.
It's not the best beer on the planet, but I love it. It
Yeah.
just has like a nostalgia for me, so I like to drink it.
I cleaned out my beer fridge this weekend.
Yeah.
You know what I found in the way back? So like there was this trend like on social media a couple months ago. People were finding like these old beverages in their
Right.
grandparents' fridges or whatever.
Okay.
I didn't think I had one left, and it was way in the back.
What?
Zima.
What? Are you sure you
Found it.
didn't clean out your time machine instead of your
I
fridge?
found one, and I'm like, oh, score. Yes.
Did you drink it?
Not yet. I'm saving it for a special occasion.
No, what does a special occasion constitute with Zima?
So the last time I had a Zima was when the Packers drafted Jordan Love,
Okay.
and it was not for a good reason.
Now, what are you setting it aside for? In your head, what is...
I think I want to save that one for something positive.
Okay.
I don't know what it is.
Worth
Maybe a Super
cracking.
Bowl championship,
A Zima for the Super Bowl?
a World Series, or
You might
something.
be the only one on the planet.
Yep. That's what I'm saving it for.
Okay. Do you
I'll save a couple Jolly Ranchers to put in there too.
do you enjoy a Zima?
Yes.
You do.
Yeah.
No, I remember Zimas.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were back in the day. It was kind of like, did you ever drink Fresca?
Oh gosh, yes, I love Fresca.
Right?
As a kid, I called that my beer because it tasted different than other soda.
It did. It had like a snap to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had a little bite when
so
you
I
opened
called
it up.
as my 8-year-old self was like, that's my beer.
They should make a Fresca beer. Find that.
Well, they got the Fresca.
Have you tried one?
Oh
of
yeah,
those?
I love those.
You do. Oh,
Yep.
see, I haven't tried those.
Yep.
At least not
Definitely.
in public.
Yep.
So you cleaned out your beer fridge. Does that mean you like cracked them and made your way through them, or you're actually making room for other things?
Making room for the good stuff.
What defines the good stuff? Man
Man
Cave
Cave
Light.
Lights. Some Michelob in there too. Some Bush. I got some Bush Apple in there.
It's
So.
beer. Yeah.
Although apparently
beer
I might
fridge
have to
stuff.
sell that on eBay just to get some extra money because that thing's going off the shelves.
Bush Apple is?
Oh God, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I am out of the loop. Me
Oh,
over
yeah.
here with my boring unflavored Coors Light.
Yep, exactly.
Well, congrats on the Zima.
WAYY Eau Claire, W286CK Eau Claire, Sports Talk 105.1 and 790 AM. From the 715 Newsroom, it's your news done differently with Morgan McCarthy.
Well, good morning. Here's what we're learning today. We'll start with headlines that keep us pretty close to our area, with 2 organizations putting up a reward to find the person responsible for killing a bull elk in Jackson County. The Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation is offering a $5,000 reward, and the Bear Club is kicking in $500 for information that leads to the successful prosecution of the elk's killing. The bull was found shot to death on private property off of East Snow Creek Road in March and was wearing a GPS radio collar. The Department of Natural Resources then gathered information about the shooting from nearby trail cams. So if you have any information, you're asked to take that to the DNR, and they do have a confidential hotline. Well, if you got a sketchy message from the Wisconsin Department of Transportation, but it kind of looked legit, but you're not really sure, we're throwing up the red flag here with the Department of Transportation Division of Motor Vehicles warning about a new wave of phishing scams. So the reports are that there's a text message claims to be from the DMV, and they're trying to get you to click on fraudulent links or release personal information. Now, what it warns you of is that it's a final notice for an unpaid traffic violation, and then you start, thinking, okay, do I have one? Did I forget? It does look like it's real, but it's not. It again is a scam, and it's coming after a similar scam that you may remember talking about earlier this year. So the DMV just wants to urge you not to respond to those texts, and you can report it to the Wisconsin Department of Transportation Motor Vehicles. Link online and some information for you at 715newsroom.com. Well, downtown, the bricks were falling off a wigwam. An investigation is is now underway after a large amount of bricks on the exterior wall of the tavern downtown Eau Claire fell. This happened yesterday afternoon. This is on Madison Street. No one was hurt. The owners say they are staying open, just looking into what's going on there. Meanwhile, in Chippewa, Brazina's is off the menu for lunch and abruptly closed. The popular eatery in Chippewa Falls shut doors, with the owner saying no real reason besides it's time. And if you're a cat person, do you kind of get annoyed because everything seems to be dog focused sometimes? Not today. Keep the claws in, kitten. It's National Hug Your Cat Day.
Today is National Hug Your Cat Day. Sounds easy enough, but anyone who lives with a cat knows they don't always like human plans. And many cats view hugs as a form of human-induced torture, which can bring out the claws and leave you running for Band-Aids. So go easy on the hug, but do show your appreciation for your furry companion, who is scientifically proven to be smarter than dogs, just with a lot more attitude. I'm Bree Tennis.
You know, that's what it feels like coming in to talk to Kasper some days.
Human-induced torture.
I mean, you never know what mood he's going to be in. Kitten's got claws some days.
Then leave you running for Band-Aids.
You don't believe me? Listen to this actual footage this morning. For Sports Talk 105.1, I'm Morgan McCarthy.
Our Wednesday is starting off with areas of fog, some of which is locally dense, so you do want to exercise caution for the commute. On top of that, we are also dealing with poor air quality, and the air quality alert remains in effect through noon today, but thankfully we are going to see improvements. Skies will turn mainly sunny, temperatures seasonable in the upper 70s. For tonight, mainly clear, and an overnight low at around 50. On 13 First Alert, meteorologist Derek Dahlman.
Blanking on what to do for lunch or dinner? Don't stress about it. It's easy with Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. They have daily meal deals, fried chicken, Chinese food, pizza, chef specials, and a huge selection of easy take and bake meals that are made fresh in store daily. Plus, they even get the grills and smokers out, so you could grab yourself some ribs, pulled pork, or half chickens. Making plans for your meals just got a whole lot easier and tastier with the help from Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. I've got my dinner plans with Hy-Vee. Do you?
If your home's exterior sustained damage in the recent storms, Walker Roofing and the reliable crew can help. Walker Roofing takes the hassle out of the insurance claim process. Walker Roofing has you covered. WalkerRoofing.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, sports aficionados and armchair quarterbacks, welcome to the Dan Kasper Show, where sports passion meets expert analysis. Dan's encyclopedic knowledge and infectious passion for all things sports is both impressive and sad.
I have many leather-bound books.
So get ready to laugh, cheer, and maybe even fake a few times.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
It's the Dan Kasper Show.
Second hour, kick it off on this Wednesday morning, June 4th, 6-4-2-5. Hopefully they're all off to an awesome start here on this Wednesday morning. Coming up, we'll do some stock reports coming up in about an hour from now. So we'll hit that up. We'll get back to some more baseball talk. Brewers looking for a series win after falling to the Reds yesterday. So start a new win streak tonight or to this afternoon here. Brew Crew will hit that up. We got Stanley Cup Finals Game 1. If you want to make your picks for that, you can let us know by hitting us up with a text on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line at 715-830-1912. Is it Edmonton's year, or are you going to go with the Panthers of Florida? Who do you got? Who do you got? Completely agree with you, Nick. I was telling Morgan about this in the commercial break. Nick says Zima had a great commercial as well. We get excited about it when it comes out every once in a blue moon, just like when they brought Surge back for a period of time. Dude, you preach to the choir. When they brought Surge back, how many years ago was that? Because that was when Taylor was still working here from 92.9. Me and her ran over to KT to buy some.
I think I might remember that.
Yeah. But the Zima commercial, I was telling Morgan about it during the break. The one where it's like so hot and the guy's like sandals like are melting on the roof, and he grabs a Zima and he cools down and he falls off and all. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait as a kid when I was 21 to have a Zima.
That sounds pathetic.
But it made you want it.
It did. I mean, mission
Have you ever had a
accomplished, I guess.
Zima?
I don't know that I've ever tasted a Zima. I think I don't think I was ever really around anyone with a Zima. That's part of the problem.
Right here. You're around with somebody who's had a Zima. Right here.
But like in the
while they're
room.
having it.
Yeah, where I'm like, okay, now I would taste the Zima, and I'd probably still be like, ugh.
I will save it.
Okay.
For the next championship.
Okay.
Whether it's Packers, Bucks, Brewers, or Badger basketball or Badger football. Those are
that Zima might have acquired a heck of a fermentation.
It's got to be at least 5-6 years old. Because the last one I had, you have the video evidence when Jordan Love was drafted. Is the last time I had one. That was 2020.
Yeesh. So are we going to get to 200 proof, you think?
That's why I'm saving it. That'll be a good cheers.
Oh, wow.
Victory Scotch, victory Zima.
Wow. Well, remember, liquor than beer, you're in the clear. So just keep
especially
the order
when
correct.
it's a Zima clear. So maybe I should. I've been waiting almost 24 hours for you to ask me this question.
Yes.
And I'm still waiting. Are you gonna? I'm disappointed you didn't even text me. I had to find out about it from a listener on Twitter yesterday.
Oh my gosh. What was the?
This is in your wheelhouse.
There should be something in my wheel.
You should.
Uniforms?
Yes.
What just happened?
Yesterday.
Did I miss something?
You missed. Orlando.
Oh my gosh. Now I see what you mean. Yeah, you know what? I didn't go to UniWatch late yesterday. Because I was doing my job.
I was waiting for a Luke Anthony text.
And I was working for the people yesterday.
Shout out to a Josh who's on Twitter.
Okay.
Who informed me via, like, he retweeted the Magic post and tagged me in it. So thank you to this Josh out there. Don't know who you are.
Okay.
But
all right. Well, now that I see this.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Penny approves. I approve.
Okay.
So
is this definitely a modern imagining?
So the white one, beautiful. I like it. White pinstripes one, cool. The blue one's okay. I don't know if I like the font of the Orlando on there.
That's the thing. The Magic and the font, and both fonts have been modernized.
The other one, the black one with the blue top, I was a little hesitant at first until I saw somebody post a side-by-side of what it's supposed to be. The warm-up jacket. Because if you look at the old school 90s warm-up jacket, it's got the blue top and then the black bottom. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm all about it now. All about it. Heck yes.
Okay. Yes, I see what you mean now. Yep, I'm looking at the jacket. So because again, we're doing, as I always like to say, one of the worst things you can do talk about visual stuff on the radio. But so this third, what are they officially referring to this as the statement one or whatever the Nike? Yeah, it is the statement jersey. So what we would call the alternate back before Nike came up with all the terms. So for those listening who were like driving, it's like the alternate's a diagonal sash, if you will, across the top of the jersey, and it's blue at the top, and it's black in the middle, and then below that is the black with white pinstripes, like the original road uniforms going back to '89.
Yep.
But the jacket had the same pattern.
Yep.
Again, the biggest update is they don't have quite the cartoony Orlando, that Magic script font. Wasn't a script, but it kind of was.
I wish I still had my Kmart Orlando Magic hat that I got in 3rd grade. God, that was so beautiful.
Wow. This is something.
Was when hats under the brim was green, even though it was a black and blue hat, but they had to have that green under there. So,
let's see.
So the only thing now is, first of all, I do, because there was a video Orlando, I think, posted of Penny opening the package and looking at the new jerseys, and Penny approved. My issue is they gave him a jersey that had the number 26 on there and said player on the back. You could customize one for Penny Hardaway. For crying out loud, Orlando.
Player.
You can't send him a number 1 with Hardaway on the back. Do better.
You would think.
Do flipping better.
Go player. Woo! I'm looking through all the comments on the UniWatch post. figuring
Yeah.
these are the fellow geeks. Now, again, these are the uniform geeks as opposed to like the general public that aren't as focused on
90s Orlando fans.
Right. We're probably all gonna love that.
Oh, I know they probably all hate it.
I'm seeing a mix. There are a good number, to be fair, that saw the black one, and the original write-up does not mention the warm-up thing. So they're like, what the heck is that?
I will say I didn't know what that was at first either, but then I saw the side by side.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I get it now.
And once a few people in the threads are like, oh, this actually is the same thing, they go, oh, okay, then it makes sense. It does. I wouldn't say it's like a 100% love, but compared to a lot of uniform makeovers, this is getting a way more positive response from Uniworld than
the question is
others.
I don't know. I mean, I kind of have to get one,
Mhm.
but I don't want one of a current Magic player unless
not Paolo.
No,
Really?
unless Giannis gets traded there, then I could.
You would take a Giannis Orlando Magic jersey?
Why wouldn't I? The question is,
Okay,
why
now that's
wouldn't I?
interesting. This goes back to our discussion from a week ago about, do you splurge on a jersey from a player where...
Oh, this would be a knockoff. I'll admit it, it'd be a knockoff.
You're not okay.
Yeah. I would not spend $200 on that thing.
Okay.
It would be a knockoff.
Okay.
I should say a legit knockoff because that doesn't make any sense. A very realistic.
Exactly. Yes. Right. One that looks like the real thing. Look, I mean, the replicas nowadays look just about like the real thing. You wouldn't necessarily have the Disney advertisement on there, but whatever.
Yep.
No, I like them. They look even more like the Magic that I first knew, and that's getting back to. I mean, that's
first we knew and the first we loved.
Right. I mean, it's not quite my formative years of uniforms, but it's my earlier years of sports fandom. They are your formative years of anything sports. So that's going right to the like.
Thought about busting out one of those jerseys and wearing them today in honor of it.
You should have.
Should have.
You got plenty of other
Would have been
opportunities.
Penny or
coming up.
Shaq.
Yeah.
I don't know which one.
Yeah. I generally like these. That's my take. I will take. I mean, perfect world, I'd have them exactly recreate 1989. But if they have to make some modifications, this is probably the best type of modification. I think the one thing I would do, I wouldn't have changed the word mark. It's a little generic for me. Part of the appeal of the Magic was that splashy Magic font. Even though I do think it looked, honestly, I've always thought it looked a little amateurish for an NBA team, but that's them too. Certain teams, if it becomes their identity, it doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Well, this is subjective anyway, but they should have gone with that. But fine. I'll take what they've got.
Yeah. So well done. Tip of the cap. Tip of the cap to whoever did that. So, but not a tip of the cap to not creating a custom one for Penny freaking Hardaway. It's like when I play NBA Action 95 on Sega and I go with the Orlando Magic. Your typical starting lineup of Penny, Nick, Dennis, Grant, roster center 99 or 00, excuse me. Because, it's can't have Shaq's name on there, so we just call him roster center. Ridiculous. Roster center is the name. Roster center. You can't even come up with like Joe Miller or something like that. It's roster center.
Can't do Joe Smith because that's taken.
Yeah. I mean, come on now. So, but yeah, I was waiting. I was waiting for the text yesterday.
I cannot believe I missed that.
Yep.
I cannot believe I missed that one. I think I went to UniWatch like yesterday morning. I'm like, okay, I got that through a few and yeah, somehow I missed that. My apologies. Well, I won't let that happen again.
Yeah.
No.
You
set up
you
Google
are warned.
alerts.
You are warned.
I know. I'm going to set up Google alerts or something.
All right. So, all right. We got to take a quick break here, and we'll talk some more baseball and such, and let Luke regroup from his failure from yesterday.
Yeah.
Maybe you should have a Zima.
I need to go to like the G League now or something.
This should be a good question. What's the oldest beverage you have in your fridges, people? In your man cave fridges? Does anybody have an old? Because there was that trend. Remember a couple months ago? It was like on TikTok or Instagram.
I missed that one. What was it again?
People were like going through their grandparents' fridge or their own beer fridge and then pulling out like an old, like 1994 Diet Coke. or a Rusty Wallace Miller Lite can that's still, unopened and such like that. So yeah,
I got to think about this because I don't think I have anything now, but I have had something that's goes overseas.
Okay. And we're not talking about fine wine or a bourbon or a scotch. We're not talking about like something you can just have on the shelf. We're talking about that's got to be in your fridge.
Yeah.
Got to be in the fridge. And then as soon as you take it out, it's done. You got to drink it.
Right.
Got to drink it.
Mm-hmm.
Beverage wise, we don't need to know about yucky foods.
No milk, please don't save that.
Yeah, that stuff too. It's something that doesn't really expire within a month.
Yeah, I drank it and I got sick. No. I mean, I guess if you did.
This isn't Fear Factor now.
Right.
So we're not doing that. So, but what's the oldest brewski or malt beverage that you have in your man cave fridges? I know you all have. There's got to be somebody that beats me. Mine's got to be 5 or 6 years old.
Okay.
Somebody's got to have an older one. I probably do have a beer in there that's older than that, but I don't know.
Okay.
But Zima's, come on now. That's
Zima.
That's classic. So. And yeah, Surge. Oh yeah, middle school Dan. That was middle school Dan dances at our little concession. That was
one can of
you
Surge.
just get the Surge. You have a couple of them, and then you go sing some TLC. Don't go chasing waterfalls or whoever sang that song. Yeah,
You got your group right. Yep.
All right. See, I'm just saying. 94 90s podcast.
We just did. Okay. We'll
just
go talk to our boss about it.
Wind pants and Walkmans.
Yeah.
Wind pants and portable CD players.
Discmans.
Discmans.
Still got mine at home. It works.
Got to plug it into the cigarette lighter in your car. And then, even though it's anti-skip, it's not anti-skip.
Mm-hmm.
It because it's potholes in Wisconsin.
Yeah, there's no way that's happening actually.
So, in my Oldsmobile Achieva, with Oldsmobile written on the front window,
right? Yes,
with a tip on the exhaust because that was the Fast and Furious area too. So
classy.
Oh yeah, and the cologne air freshener in there. You had to spray it
Well,
every day.
right, yeah.
Oh yeah,
not to be confused with Axe body spray.
Yeah, shower in a can.
It is.
It could be Axe body spray.
Not great, but still it works.
It works.
That's the point.
It works. All right, quick break. We'll be back.
You're listening to the Dan Kasper Show.
Warmer weather means more time on your feet. Make sure every step feels great. Whether it's running, walking, or working, proper support matters. The Shoe Doctor carries a wide selection of supportive shoes, custom insoles, and footwear solutions designed for comfort and performance. Stop in to find the right fit for spring and summer activities. The Shoe Doctor, helping feet feel their best season after season. Visit the Shoe Doctor today at 2321 East Claremont Avenue or online at shoedoctoreauclair.com, where comfort starts. Warmer weather means more time on your feet. Make sure every step feels great. Whether it's running, walking, or working, proper support matters. The Shoe Doctor carries a wide selection of supportive shoes, custom insoles, and footwear solutions designed for comfort and performance. Stop in to find the right fit for spring and summer activities. The Shoe Doctor, helping feet feel their best season after season. Visit the Shoe Doctor today at 2321 East Claremont Avenue or online at shoedoctoreauclair.com, where comfort starts.
This update sponsored by UW Credit Union. For every stage of life, UW Credit Union is here for every you. Don't miss an extra special Bryce Terang Platinum Glove Brewers Bobblehead giveaway on July 26th. Courtesy of Wintrust, Wisconsin's Bank. The first 25,000 fans through the gates will collect the bobble. Get your seats now at brewers.com/giveaways. Join UW Credit Union at uwcu.org. Insured by NCUA.
When it comes to firearms, ammo, and expert service, there's one name that you could trust in the Chippewa Valley, and that's Tilden Gun. Whether you're a seasoned hunter, a weekend shooter, or just getting started, Tilden Gun has what you need, from top brands and rifles, shotguns, and handguns, to a full line of ammunition and accessories. They've got you covered. You're looking to buy, sell, or trade? Well, hey, Tilden Gun makes it easy with fair pricing and honest advice. And if you're in the market for your first time firearm or just need some guidance, their knowledgeable staff is always ready to help. Located just outside of Chippewa Falls, it's worth the short drive to get real service from real people. Tilden Gun is where quality, trust, and experience come standard. So stop on in today and see the difference at 12427 12427 98th Avenue in Chippewa Falls. That's 12427 98th Avenue in Chippewa Falls. Or visit them online at tildandgun.com.
Service Master of Chippewa Valley is your local expert when it comes to fire and water damage, carpet and air duct cleaning, mold remediation, and trauma. They're when you need them 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Trust comes in the yellow truck. Learn more at ServiceMasterChippewaValley.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-498-6548. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at tra.com or call 800-498-6548. That's 800-498-6548. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Broadcasting live from the TDS Sports Talk 105.1 studios, it's the Dan Kasper Show.
When it comes to orthopedic care, Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine is here for you. Their team of specialists provides comprehensive services, including joint replacement, sports medicine, pain management, and spine care. Whether you're recovering from an injury or managing chronic pain, they offer personalized treatment plans to help you get back to the activities you love. Just visit cvosm.com to schedule an appointment today. Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine is your partner in recovery. And a reminder, if you ever miss our Inside the Training Room segments with Dr. Crow every Friday morning, they are part of the Man Cave podcast. Got a separate playlist for Inside the Training Room, also available on there if you want to follow and subscribe to that. So again, if you ever miss our conversations with Austin, they are always up on the latest episode of the Man Cave podcast, up on wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple, at our website, YouTube, all that stuff. So G-Town, Greg, I got to know though if that can is actually in your fridge or it's just on display, because I've got some display ones there too, but I got to know if that's actually in your fridge still or not. We'll get back to some more texts coming up here in just a little bit. A few of you chiming in about Brewers and that, so we will get back to some more Brewers talk coming up here momentarily. Packers OTAs, another round of OTAs going on. No Jair, no surprise. No Elton Jenkins, no surprise. No Quay Walker yesterday and such, but we got to see a little bit of practicing yesterday from the media that was in attendance, and Matt LaFleur chatted a little bit with the media as well. And some of the players, including Kenny Clark, talking to the media. Kenny Clark let it be known yesterday that he did have surgery in January due to a toe injury that he suffered in Week 1 against the Philadelphia Phillies in Brazil, saying that affected his play throughout the rest of the season here, starting to get to 100%, starting to do individual drills and such. So he had that, and, we had Keyshawn Nixon also saying he would return kicks if the coaches asked him to do that and such. So, again, it's June, so we don't want to take too much serious from OTA practices and all that. Okay, Greg, it is that a boy. So let's talk some more green and golds. Good morning, Joseph. How are you doing?
Zima?
What?
Zima? You had a man crush on Zima when you were young? That was like the first drink when you were 21 that you wanted to have?
You're in marketing, and it was a great commercial as an 8-year-old.
So when you turned 21 and you had that Zima.
No, it wasn't available when I was 21, so I had to wait when it came back like 6 years ago.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so...
But when I was 8, I said I couldn't wait till I'm 21 because that's when you're legal to have one.
Did it match your expectation?
100%.
All right.
I was a big Sky Blue fan back in the day too. Wow. Not Smirnoff, but yeah.
So Luke, were you Zima?
You never had one?
No.
No.
All right.
Like,
You seem like a malt liquor beverage type of person.
That's an incredible assessment. I'm not sure that I would be. I would say
you're a Seagram's kind of guy.
Ooh, wow.
Wine cooler.
Wine cooler. Well,
See,
and we thank you for your support.
Well, and that's the thing. Going back to the original Bartles and James. I mean, that was, the old brewer, the old baseball helmets. Where the plastic ones that you got, and it had that little bracket thing, and you could pop that bracket thing off.
Mm-hmm.
Those were really, really cool beer or wine cooler bongs.
Yeah,
because it had the 2 holes, and you could just hold it that way, and then
if you didn't take the tinfoil wrapper off and sneak a little pull off the peach flavored ones as a kid, you weren't doing it right.
Yeah.
Or Boone's farming it, whatever.
So I've got my high school reunion this year, and I'm not going to say what year it was.
Probably like 50.
You're close.
I was going to say, I'm probably closer than
40. So, but and we all talked about what we're going to do, and it's like, well, should we do something like we did in high school? I'm like, what? Go out to the field and drink? And I'm like, I don't know if that's fun anymore at 57. So I don't know. So, but
sounds fun to me at 39. So
by the way, I just watched the Walk on Walls and Ceilings Zima commercial. I very much remember seeing that.
Now we go
a lot. Yep.
Red Dog. Oh yeah.
I remember. Now he's sold.
Mm-hmm.
Also, but also, what happens to the Zima when he crashes to the ground? Like the last thing you see is like, ah! And then it cuts off, and
it's Zima. It's indestructible.
Does the glass just like bounce off the ground and stays upright?
Okay.
The way you said that, you were very passionate.
It's a very thick glass. I'm not kidding. It's not light. It's not thin. The one I have, it's kind of like got the rigid. It's very.
Guy's neck like snaps. He's dead in there, but the Zima's fine. So at least his roommate would get to drink it.
It's one of those heavy duty glasses.
I am going to go get a 6-pack of Zima, and I'm going to put it on your desk.
If you could find one, please do.
All right, I'm going to do that.
I remember we had this like search. Was it like 6 years ago? We were like an APB for Zima around the area, and we couldn't find it.
Berg picked it up for me.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to look for it.
Yep.
Cool. That's my goal.
I'm on eBay right now, anyways.
Almost did a spit take on that.
I was looking for Sal Frelick autographed baseballs because he's the greatest baseball player in the world. So
the summer of Sal.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if they got any Zima because I know I could probably put my Busch Light apple on there and probably make $500 on just one can.
That is one of my son's favorite go-tos is Busch Light apple.
It's like a cult favorite right now. I don't get it. So it tastes like apples. How
about mixing Busch Light apple with a Zima?
Now you're getting down to when I was in college and I thought I was cool and I created a shot.
What was the shot?
I called it the Terminator.
Oh
nice.
Yeah.
And it was based off of what we just had in the house.
Yeah.
Tequila and Jaeger.
Ooh.
Not good.
Not good?
Mm-mm. Brother started to sell it for a hot minute.
Were you like Aaron Rodgers at the Pickle and wanted a drink after him, named after himself?
Pretty much. Yep. But yeah, I just called it the Terminator instead. So, hey, an unopened can. Oh wait, open can, $8 a Zima. Who wants a can of Zima? You want
nobody want. You want the bottle.
Yeah.
You want the bottle.
Yeah.
Turn that baby. You know what you do when you're done drinking it? Turn that baby into a candle.
Ooh. Or a light, so the wax doesn't get.
Yeah.
There we go. There's my summer project. I could get a Zima duffel bag for $50.
So what golfing did you do this summer? None. I was working on Zima candles.
On Zima candles and lights. Selling them on Etsy.
I should get an Etsy page for that. You're right. Yes. I've been looking for a side gig.
You know what? And here's the thing. I was driving and listening, and I'm like all prepared, OTAs, talking about Elton, talking about Zach Tom, talking about Jair. But I'm like, Zima?
Mm-hmm.
That's where my brain went and hasn't left.
I was happy that I found one in the back of my fridge. And so now the song, because there was that trend of videos, like people were finding these old ones on TikTok and that. And the song that goes with it is Creed. I'm 6 feet under.
Yeah, there you go.
So now that's just playing in my head.
See, now I'm going to go way back because I'm, again, a lot older. For me, it was Let It Be Lowenbrow, man.
Whoa.
The commercial, when the guy comes in, and actually that's Richard Pine, Chris Pine's dad, who was on Chips, and he comes in and goes, I'm going to have the biggest steak and a Lowenbrow. and the rest of his gang says, you're a genius. And they all have Lowenbrow. So that was my go-to back in the day.
I'm right in the middle. I still remember the old Milwaukee ads from the mid-'80s, sitting around at the fire. It doesn't get any better than this.
See, and if I could sing, I would sing the Lowenbrow theme song. Tonight is kind of special.
So what was your go-to like cheapo beer back in the day?
Seriously?
Like, yeah.
Old style.
Was it old style?
Yeah,
Okay.
because I'm from Beloit, and we actually, a good friend of mine's family was the distributor.
Okay.
So it was very readily available. So old style was our go-to.
Best Light.
And then college for me, it was Old Milwaukee.
Okay.
And that was it was $4 for a case, UW-Madison, and you got $1 back if you return the case completely with intact.
Was it because it was one of those like really old cans where it like had the V cut?
No, these are bottles.
I was just joking.
Yeah, these are bottles. Oh man, is that an age
that
group?
once you find in the woods, you're like, oh, what a classic! Put that on the shelf. Everybody's got a little. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So
you got me excited now.
Yeah.
This would be a good podcast.
It would be.
It's talking about the booze and alcohol that you had growing up.
Yeah. I think it'd be more interesting probably for Luke for a list of what you did have, because it's probably pretty short.
Very extremely short.
Be about a 2-minute podcast.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Minute 50 would be like sponsors and where to subscribe. And
the intro, the outro.
Yeah. All of that.
Yep.
I had this one sip. You can find this podcast.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
Well, I didn't mean to take us down this path down memory lane, this trip down memory lane, but I thought it was, when you said Zima, I said, Zima? Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah. So it was more of like, okay, it was my childhood. I remember the commercials. I got to try it when I get older.
I got you. You bought the marketing.
Yep.
You bought the marketing.
It's lasted 30 years in my mind. So,
I get you.
Yep.
I get you. So it's the same reason why. Well, it's a different reason, but I was a big Price is Right fan growing up as a kid for the models.
Oh yeah.
For Diane Parkinson, especially. Yeah.
Okay.
So that I was imprinted.
Why else did we were legitimately sick during school at 10 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, Diane Parkinson was she was the one.
It wasn't to listen to Bob say spay your pets and cats and whatever neuter.
I was just hoping it would either be the Diane Parkinson in the leather spacesuit or the bikini. Either one of those.
Yep.
So
yep.
Anyway, we digress. So Jair, we're coming up on mandatory camp. And I think that's going to push the envelope, and it's going to create a decision. And Andrew Brandt always says this, that timing creates a sense of urgency, because the Packers don't want him coming into mandatory camp
right
if he's not committed and signed to the new deal. So I think we're going to see resolution probably in the next few days on that. Again, June 10th being that big day. I thought it was interesting. You said Kenny Clark, the toe injury, couldn't push off during the year. Also, Lucas Van Ness, broken thumb, talks about the fact that he could not use his hands very well. And so I thought that was interesting. Also with Lucas Van Ness playing a little bit of defensive tackle, I thought that was interesting as well. He does have the size to play there. Zach Tom choosing not to go the Elton Jenkins way and showing up even though he wants that big payday. And that will be a big payday, because when you look at the right tackles and what they're making right now, it's 25 to 30 million a year. So lots to glean from what's happening. And again, Keyshawn Nixon saying he's open to returning kicks, and Romeo Dobbs taking a leadership role and also kind of rebuilding his physique, Matt LaFleur talking about. So you get a little nuggets. It's June. You're not in August, obviously, and you're not at training camp, but you start pulling some of these nuggets out. And again, Jordan Love and
who has regressed apparently.
Who has regressed. Dan Orlovsky, thank you very much, who I absolutely enjoy and love and respect, talked about the fact on Twitter.
Only two quarterbacks in the last 2 years, or 5 quarterbacks in the last 2 years that finished top 10 in QBR.
Jordan Love being one of them. And he said, for those of you that think Jordan Love regressed last year, you don't know quarterback.
You don't know football.
Yeah, it's just and you know what? He's looking sharp in camp. He's connecting with Matthew Golden. There's just some good things. There's a good vibe coming out of this camp right now. And so again, you just start pulling some of those things out. Aaron Banks is a big dude. When you look at at some of the stuff on him, the film on him. And I think they're going to take this identity where it's going to be run the football, play action pass, hit him over the top with something deep. So it's just, again, you can't take a lot. You said this out of June mini camps, but you can start gleaning some things, and especially when they get the interviews with the players, learning about some things from last year, learning about some other things moving forward. So yeah, there were some good nuggets, but the biggest news is going to be probably in the next few days. We will either have Jair or we won't.
I want to go back to Love here too, because Warren Sharp, if you don't know who he is, he's a football guy there too, but he had this to say about Jordan Love. This was on the 2nd, so Monday. After spending the entire weekend researching and writing about the Packers 2024 season, I 100% disagree with this about Jordan Love regressing. On early downs among 46 quarterbacks, Love ranked 4th in yards per attempt, 5th in expected per attempt, 8th in success, and that's despite being injured, playing through injury half the year. Then on third down, on third and fourth downs, Jordan Love lost at 28.2 EPA due to receiver errors. That is the most EPA loss for any quarterback since 2020. On all downs, the Packers receivers led the NFL in errors, which caused incompletions. And the Packers played the 6th toughest schedule of pass defenses last year. So you could downplay his counting stats if you want, but what he battled both externally from opponents and internally from injuries and receivers to lead his team to 11-6 is encouraging, in my opinion, not disappointing. I don't understand this, and I was getting it from Packers fans about, we had somebody say the other day, well, you take away his garbage time and he was not a top 10 quarterback. And I'm like, why are we banging on this guy right now?
And again, I think that for whatever the reason, there is a faction of Packer fans that love misery.
Yeah.
And they, they want to have something to complain about.
Yeah.
And whether it's they moved up in the draft to take him, whether it's he pushed Aaron Rodgers out, whatever the reason. But I think Packer fans love to look for something to complain about. And again, maybe it's all fan bases. It probably is to a certain extent. But I think you look at the expectations going into last year, and I think people were just expecting the light switch will go on.
Yep.
This team's going to run to the Super Bowl. It's going to be easy, and it wasn't. And again, injuries happen, things happen, and so I think it goes back to the expectations last year that the way the Packers finished the season before, arguably should have been playing in the NFC Championship game. I mean, there's just no question with that 49er game. So I think it was expectations not met. Packers were the favorite of talking heads to go to the Super Bowl last year before the season started. So I think it goes back to, was last year a disappointment? And you and I talked about this. When you have a rebuild and that gets accelerated unexpectedly, like it did 2 seasons ago, then all of a sudden the expectations are blown out of proportion. And now you're looking at it and saying, okay, well, we regressed because we didn't do this, or he didn't do this, or they didn't do this. And so I think it goes back to those expectations and when you look at it from an outsider's perspective looking in, and you just look at stats, or you just look at the highlights that you see on SportsCenter, if you're just looking at that, yeah, you probably paint a more negative picture than it really is. But then when you start breaking down those things and you start looking at it from a pure football standpoint, no, he didn't regress. And he made some fantastic throws last year, basically on one leg.
Yeah.
And so I think it does go back to, though, the expectations from last year.
Because I'm mentally preparing too. He is entering year 3 as a starter. I'm getting ready for the other talking heads or other people. Well, Aaron led the team to a Super Bowl in year 3.
Yep, already hearing that.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, is that the expectation? Then this year is like, you got to follow exactly what Aaron Rodgers did in year 3.
Well, Aaron did follow Brett to New York, so there is a pattern, that does play out there. But look, I think it goes back to Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers. The bar is set very high for the quarterback position in Green Bay. And again, I think the expectations were a little bit unrealistic last year. I think this is going to be a big year for Love. I don't think he regressed last year. I think there were times when he didn't look right, but then when you break down the knee, and we all know from a quarterback position, the lower body is everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's everything. It's not the arm, it's the lower body, it's the legs, it's the hips, it's everything. But I think this is a big year for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if he continues to ascend, because I'm not going to say last year was going backwards or regressing. If he continues to ascend, I think that's the key to a Packers potential Super Bowl run.
And I think it's fair to say, too, that year 3, this year is a critical year for Jordan Love because, you look at year 1, besides the Chicago opener, it was a slow start.
Mm-hmm.
Then, you had the Goody presser. He's got 10 games, essentially kind of saying, all right, you got 10 games to showcase what you got.
Right.
And he was awesome.
Right.
And he was fantastic. And I think part of that, too, was LaFleur and Love, I think, found something that worked together, that sort of thing. So it was awesome. And then year 2, you're right. I was guilty of it. Super high expectations.
Absolutely.
And factors of injuries, receivers can't catching footballs. We had these high expectations, and it was disappointing. And you look at year 3, I think it's fair to say, like, okay, what else can you do? Because I think we all believe there's still more to come from Love.
Right.
That we could see that there's still more to come, or we expect that there's more to come, that there's more that he could achieve at being a top tier quarterback in this league. And I think I think if you're of the mindset like, well, I want to see more, that's fine.
Yeah.
But to kind of dismiss what he has done so far, I mean, heck, you talk about being miserable in that. I don't know if I'd like doing this if we were the Browns and you just had like crappy years every single year. We'd be complaining all the time.
Well, and
you know what I mean?
And especially looking at the quarterback position.
Yeah.
You name the Browns. I mean, and go through the litany of quarterbacks that they've gone
that
through.
Guy's jersey where he just changes the names all the time.
I mean, you go through that. And again, I do think, just like you said, I think we looked at it and got our hopes very high. And again, also that receiving crew did not take the next step.
Yeah.
So everyone you and I had many a conversation about that next step the receiving group was going to take too, because they also ended the year on a high note the year previous.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it all kind of goes into that. I think this is a very big season.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a very big season for Love. I think it's a big season for Matt LaFleur.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a critical season when you look at Goody, what he has done.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying they're on the hot seat, but I am saying, okay, this is a logical next step kind of season.
Yep.
If everything plays out, this team should be one of the teams at the end that is in the talk of Super Bowl, that you can speak of them as a Super Bowl contender.
Right.
And I think it's a logical. I mean, again, this is very logical now. You take the emotion out of it, and you don't look at last year, but you look at, okay, year 3 of this. Goody's got his guys, a couple of good draft classes, and Matt LaFleur's in a groove from a play caller standpoint. Yeah, take emotion out of it. This is a year that you should expect the Packers to be contenders, period.
Of the 4 defensive linemen, the 4 first rounders heading into the season, who's it more critical for this year? Rashawn, Devontae Wyatt, Kenny, Lucas?
Well, when
not Anthony.
No, not, nope.
When you look at what's at stake for Devontae Wyatt, it's a payday.
Mm-hmm.
He's again, he's playing on that 5th year, and that's it. So he's basically playing for the payday. But I think the pressure is probably on Lucas Van Ness the most.
Mm-hmm.
Like you talk year 3. And again, this is his 3rd season.
Mm-hmm.
And that jump that players take from 1 to 2 and 2 to 3 is the biggest jump. And so I think Lucas Van Ness. And then, okay, you talk about the fact that he had an injury. Okay, that makes sense. From a defensive lineman standpoint, you need your hands.
Mm-hmm.
And so now, okay, we're removing the excuses. And again, we all remember Green Bay drafted him with the draft choice that they got from the Aaron Rodgers trade and was able to move up in the draft order to take him. So I think you take all of that into consideration. I think Lucas Van Ness.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's the guy that needs to take that next step, and the pressure's on for him to do so. Now, do I think he can? I mean, what he showed his rookie year, if you go back to some of that tape, that was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, week 1 against the Bears, Justin Fields, on a naked boot. And Lucas Van Ness played that perfectly.
Yeah, ran him down.
Yep. And so you look at those flashes from the year previous, and you say, yeah, this guy's all right.
Mm-hmm.
Goody hit this one, and then regression happened, and an injury happened. And again, those are the things we don't know during the season. Well, I was battling this, I was battling that, and so the story comes out now. But yeah, I think it's Van Ness. I think he's the guy that needs to definitely take that next step up.
So we talk about expectations and maybe, not setting the bar so high. Year 2, what should our expectations be for Edgerrin Cooper then? He's gained weight, muscle, hasn't lost a step, but he's coming in with a lot of high expectations again this year. Do we need to temper them? I mean, it's a sophomore year, which not everybody, but sophomore years kind of, it always
the rest of the league catches up to you. Right, no doubt. And gets tape on you and sees your weaknesses. From what he flashed, like it's the same thing Jordan Love. Back half the year, Jordan Love, 2 seasons ago, expectations through the roof. I think expectations should be through the roof. And again, that's when you see this, you're saying to yourself, yeah, this should be the next step. I don't think the Packers can afford to temper their enthusiasm and their expectations for Edgerrin Cooper. I think, honestly, Hafley sees a defense built around someone like Cooper. So I don't think the Packers can afford to take their foot off the gas, so to speak, when you're talking about Edgerrin Cooper. I think he's going to be critical this year to that Jeff Hafley defense, especially, again, if those front 4 first-round picks aren't getting to the quarterback.
Right. Because you would imagine he's probably next in line. Like we got to manufacture something. Yeah. We got to get something.
And then you start moving him around. And so now you don't know where he's coming in. And again, when you look at his film last year, the game slowed down for him.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like he was in cheat code towards the end of the year. And so, yeah, I mean, those 4 first-round picks and then Edgerrin Cooper, that's probably going to determine from a defensive standpoint whether or not Green Bay is a contender. I truly think so. I think more so than Jair, more so than Evan Williams taking that next step. I think the front 4 and Edgerrin Cooper are going to tell you whether or not this team can compete for a Super Bowl.
And that kind of was going to be my next question. Let's assume Jair is back, and then you got the secondary is the next biggest question mark, then the defensive front at this point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And by the way, a GM in the league is saying that the Packers offer is probably around $10 million for Jair, with then a per game bonus to get him back up to 17 or 18 million. I think the question is going to come down to with Jair, honestly, is that 10 million going to be guaranteed?
Right.
I think that's probably because the Packers don't do that. And so that's probably the sticking point right now is the renegotiation could happen if it becomes guaranteed. If it doesn't, Green Bay is going to let him walk. And so what's your percentage right now that Jair is a Packer?
It's about like 70, I think.
Okay.
And I think too, part of that is going to be the whole likely to achieve incentives and the not likely to achieve incentives, which the likely ones are on this year's cap. Not likely would be pushed if they reach it to the next year. And, that to me could be a part of the negotiation too. And I'm just being dramatic in these examples, but not likely to achieve incentives is going to be if you get 12 interceptions.
Right.
Jair's camp's going to want those lower. Green Bay's going to want them higher. That sort of stuff plays into it too. And I think a lot of it's just going to be game time, percentage of snaps.
It's just going to be, is he available?
Yeah.
The number one talent, ability, whatever is availability. And so that is what this is going to come down to is he going to be available on game days? Is he going to be able to play 75-80% of the snaps this year? I mean, he's been hovering the last couple of years around 50.
Yeah,
and you can't have that.
No,
not at the price tag, especially that you've got with him. And so but I do like the fact that deadlines do spur action, and there is a sense of urgency now to get this thing done before the 10th.
Yep. Yeah, because I honestly feel like that if he was gone, that maybe something would have been done by now. I just feel that way. That's why I'm at about a 70.
Yeah, I'm probably a little bit lower.
Yeah.
Because I think that the Packers are going to dig their heels in on things like guarantees and that type of thing. But look, Jair can also come to the conclusion this Jeff Hafley defense might be the best place for me. Because this Jeff Hafley defense was designed with Jair Alexander in mind. So not saying that they hired Hafley just for Jair, but when you look at the kind of defensive back technique and the kind of schemes that Hafley runs, it's what Jair wanted all along. And so the Jair camp might ultimately, and I think this might swing the pendulum to Green Bay, might ultimately say the best place for me to get my next payday is to have a big year in Green Bay, because I think if he does come back, it is a 1 year and done.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he sees next year with Green Bay.
I would agree.
And so I think it's 1 year and done. And I think he might say, look, 29, 30 is Jair?
I think he's 29.
Okay, so let's go off the assumption that he's at that stage. He's got one more big deal in him.
Mm-hmm.
And so if he's going to roll the dice on himself.
28, he'll be 29 in February.
Okay, there we go. So he's got one more big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And he might say, and the camp might say, look, Jair, play this year for Hafley's defense, ball out, and then get that last big contract.
Mm-hmm.
And so that might be at play here too, because then you ask yourself, where else is he going to go? And there are a lot of teams, don't get me wrong, but more often than not, Packer players that leave don't do as well in other teams as they did in Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think it's scheme, I think it's familiarity, it's all of these things. And so you roll the dice on what you know. It's again, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think Jair's camp might say, look, if we want to get that payday, we should stay in Green Bay.
I agree. All right, Joe. Appreciate the time, man.
I'm going to find you Zima.
Well, whoever can find me Zima first, you get a high five.
I'm going to, this is going to be like the Holy Grail for me.
There you go.
I'm going to search high and low for Zima.
Brave Sir Robin, brave Sir Robin.
Wait, walk out, Luke. You're done for the day. Yeah. There you go.
Thanks, you say me.
We got to take a quick break, and we'll wrap up the second hour coming up after these quick words.
Got a take on today's topics but can't call in? Then hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, or the text line and let your fingers do the talking.
Are you looking for great food, cold drinks, and a welcoming atmosphere? Then get on over to the VFW Post 305. They offer amazing menu items from breakfast to their famous fish fry and a full bar with a friendly staff. Plus, you can enjoy weekly events and live music performances. And it's that perfect time of year to enjoy that view of Dell's Pond from the VFW Post 305. So what are you waiting for? I'll see you at the VFW Post 305 located on Star Avenue.
Warmer weather means more time on your feet. Make sure every step feels great. Whether it's running, walking, or working, proper support matters. The Shoe Doctor carries a wide selection of supportive shoes, custom insoles, and footwear solutions designed for comfort and performance. Stop in to find the right fit for spring and summer activities. The Shoe Doctor, helping feet feel their best season after season. Visit the Shoe Doctor today at 2321 East Claremont Avenue or online at shoedoctoreauklear.com, where comfort starts.
Service Master of Chippewa Valley is your local expert when it comes to fire and water damage, carpet and air duct cleaning, mold remediation, and trauma. They're when you need them 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Trust comes in the yellow truck. Learn more at ServiceMasterChippewaValley.com.
This update sponsored by UW Credit Union. For every stage of life, UW Credit Union is here for every you. Don't miss an extra special Bryce Terang Platinum Glove Brewers Bobblehead giveaway on July 26th. Courtesy of Wintrust, Wisconsin's Bank. The first 25,000 fans through the gates will collect the bobble. Get your seats now at brewers.com/giveaways. Join UW Credit Union at uwcu.org. Insured by NCUA.
The big focus in America today is on your health. And more people are looking beyond pills and steroids and surgery. Hi, John Murphy here for QC Kinetics. At QC Kinetics, they've been on the cutting edge of this medical revolution since 2018. Using regenerative medicine, they have helped tens of thousands of people get lasting joint pain relief using natural treatments that harness your body's own healing power. The truth is, regenerative medicine used to be an alternative treatment, but now it's mainstream. And QC Kinetics is the nation's leader. Their well-respected protocols include potent and powerful cellular-level treatments to revitalize and restore damaged joint tissue. They're not masking the pain. They're going after the very source of it. Yes, you can say goodbye to that chronic pain and live your best life. Learn more about this revolutionary treatment and get a free consultation. Call QC Kinetics now, 715-443-4440, 715-443-4440. That's 715-443-4440.
Sip your coffee, nibble a bagel, and listen to the morning sports show that lets sports fans speak their mind, no matter how little mind they have. The Dan Kasper Show, weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
Only got a couple minutes to the top of the hour here. We've got John, who also said a little bit earlier, my stock riser is the Colorado Rockies on a heater, winning 2 games in a row. It's not technically yet, according to Lou Brown from Major League, what you call a winning streak. My stock faller is the Knicks. They fired Tibbs yesterday after he made the team better every year. You know, really quick, because we got about a couple minutes here, but Tibbs was also the head coach of your Minnesota Timberwolves at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Is he just that guy? You follow a trend when he was with the Bulls, with the T-Wolves, with the Knicks. Like, there was a part of me that thought, okay, if the Knicks lose a series, I think Tibbs is going to get fired.
Yeah.
Whether you agree with it or not. But is he at that point he just wears down a franchise, essentially?
Scott Skiles.
Scott Skiles is a great
the
example.
name that's a
Was it Thibodeau his assistant too?
I don't remember, but might well have been.
I'll have to let me double check that.
But yes, that
Maybe
seems,
not. Maybe not.
But that
No, I don't think
was
so.
a thing. Like
Okay.
Skiles
Yeah,
was
Skiles is a great comp. Yep.
build up your team, but people get worn down on him. He can't quite get you over the hump. Yeah, that's Tom Thibodeau is the modern Scott Skiles.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. That's a great comp. So, yes, he made the Knicks better and such, but is he that coach that could take you to a certain point?
Right.
And maybe just not quite to that next
I know
one.
there's outrage over this. I mean, really? Like that? Maybe this is what the Knicks need for next.
Because let's say they hire Matt Malone, then what would be the reaction? Like, oh, okay, that's an
Mike
upgrade.
Malone.
Or Mike Malone, Matt Malone. Yeah.
I mean, if they hired Matt Malone,
Yeah,
former
yeah.
DJ here in the area, I mean, what?
Mike Malone. But if they hire
send him
Mike,
a text tomorrow, like, hey, congratulations. Like, what?
if they hire Mike Malone, I think the reaction would switch, wouldn't it? Probably
a little bit. I think I saw a little bit of, well, isn't that kind of the same thing? But Malone, I mean, he
won a championship just a couple years
did.
ago.
He doesn't have a reputation of going from team to team to team and building them up and people getting tired of him. Maybe there was a certain dynamic in Denver that comes out quicker in New York. I don't know. That could be a bad thing. So maybe he's a Thibodeau copy, but without the wear out part. That I guess that's the good case to be made if they go that direction. I don't know that they will, though.
I think he was more of a Van Gundy assistant, it looks like, because he was a Knicks assistant 96 to 03, then the Rockets 03 to 07. That would be Jeff Van Gundy era, wouldn't that be? I think.
The Yao Ming era.
Yeah.
I think.
T-Mac, come on, T-Mac.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Pre-Yao.
All right, 2 in, 1 more to go. We'll be back after these few words.
WAYY Eau Claire, W286CK Eau Claire, Sports Talk 105.1 and 790 AM. From the 715 Newsroom, it's your news done differently with Morgan McCarthy.
Well, good morning. Here's what we're learning today. We'll start with headlines that keep us pretty close to our area, with 2 organizations putting up a reward to find the person responsible for killing a bull elk in Jackson County. The Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation is offering a $5,000 reward, and the Bear Club is kicking in $500 for information that leads to the successful prosecution of the elk's killing. The bull was found shot to death on private property off of East Snow Creek Road in March and was wearing a GPS radio collar. The Department of Natural Resources then gathered showed information about the shooting from nearby trail cams. So if you have any information, you're asked to take that to the DNR, and they do have a confidential hotline. Well, if you got a sketchy message from the Wisconsin Department of Transportation, but it kind of looked legit, but you're not really sure, we're throwing up the red flag here with the Department of Transportation Division of Motor Vehicles warning about a new wave of phishing scams. So the reports are that there's a text message claims to be from the DMV, and they're trying to get you to click on fraudulent links or release personal information. Now, what it warns you of is that it's a final notice for an unpaid traffic violation, and then you start, thinking, okay, do I have one? Did I forget? It does look like it's real, but it's not. It again is a scam, and it's coming after a similar scam that you may remember talking about earlier this year. So the DMV just wants to urge you not to respond to those texts, and you can report it to the Wisconsin Department of Transportation Motor Vehicles. Link online and some information for you at 715newsroom.com. Well, downtown, the bricks were falling off a wigwam. An investigation is now underway after a large amount of bricks on the exterior wall of the tavern downtown Eau Claire fell. This happened yesterday afternoon. This is on Madison Street. No one was hurt. The owners say they are staying open, just looking into what's going on there. Meanwhile, in Chippewa, Brazina's is off the menu for lunch and abruptly closed. The popular eatery in Chippewa Falls shut doors, with the owner saying no real reason besides it's time. And if you're a cat person, do you kind of get annoyed because everything seems to be dog focused sometimes? Not today. Keep the claws in, kitten. It's National Hug Your Cat Day.
Today is National Hug Your Cat Day. Sounds easy enough, but anyone who lives with a cat knows they don't always like human plans. And many cats view hugs as a form of human-induced torture, which can bring out the claws and leave you running for Band-Aids. So go easy on the hug, but do show your appreciation for your furry companion, who is scientifically proven to be smarter than dogs, just with a lot more attitude. I'm Bree Tennis.
That's what it feels like coming in to talk to Casper some days.
Human-induced torture.
I mean, you never know what mood he's going to be in. Kitten's got claws some days.
Then leave you running for Band-Aids.
You don't believe me? Listen to this actual footage this morning. For Sports Talk 105.1, I'm Morgan McCarthy.
Our Wednesday is starting off with areas of fog, some of which is locally dense, so you do want to exercise caution for the commute. On top of that, we are also dealing with poor air quality, and air quality alert remains in effect through noon today, but thankfully we are going to see improvements. Skies will turn mainly sunny, temperatures seasonable in the upper 70s. For tonight, mainly clear, and an overnight low at around 50. I'm 13 First Alert meteorologist Derek Dahlman.
Something amazing is happening in networking. Organizations are scaling with less stress. That's because CDW is designing and implementing intelligent HPE Aruba networking solutions that simplify and secure operations. With automation at the center of your data center, growing pains can be a thing of the past. HPE Aruba Networking and CDW. Make amazing happen. Learn more at cdw.com/Aruba.
If your home's exterior sustained damage in the recent storms, Walker Roofing and the reliable crew can help. Walker Roofing takes the hassle out of the insurance claim process. Walker Roofing has you covered. WalkerRoofing.com.
From the hardwood and the diamond to the gridiron and the course, Dan's got you covered with his trademark blend of sports passion and knowledge. He has the sports info you want and the sports therapy you need. So get your game face on, people.
Let's go get some bell, huh? Put up or shut up, sir. We gotta get it started from the jump. Play big. Let's go. This is what legends made, man. It's showtime. Welcome to the big leagues. Let's go.
Because it's the Dan Kasper Show.
All right, final hour of this nonsense kicks off right now on this Wednesday morning. Reminder, Brewers are going to be, Brewers coverage actually going to start 3 hours from now, about 11:05, because, well, first pitch is at 11:40. So you can listen to that on the radio dials, 105.1 FM and 790 AM, and hopefully the Brewers will be able to pick up another series win. Let's kick off this hour doing some stock reports, though, shall we? Let's start off with stock risers. Who is your rising of stocks right now?
Boy.
By the way, really quick, Josh said who was a Golden State coach before Kerr? Him too. That would be one Marcus Jackson. Mark Jackson. But
Yes.
former Knick player though too, by the way. So
would it be mean to say the Colorado Rockies?
Well, somebody already did. So John did.
I know.
But,
So, I mean, I guess technically, yes, that would apply, I suppose. I mean, that not a lot of really like obvious ones. I was kind of struggling with it. Like I was going to say the Brewers, and they lost yesterday. I mean, I guess I could. You know what? I'll just do a broad one and say Upper Midwestern
you could
baseball.
say Christian Yelich,
yeah,
player of the week.
That applies. Well, in fact, okay. So I'll say Upper Midwest baseball still based on that. Juan Duran was reliever of the month, I believe, for the American League for the Twins. They've obviously kept going and going and going. I know Pablo Lopez probably going to the IL after a ham or was a lat strain yesterday. But overall, I mean, hey, Royce Lewis got a hit yesterday and the 0 for 32 stretch. Overall, though, both teams have gotten a lot better. It looked pretty decrepit about a month plus ago between both. I mean, not okay. By baseball standards, the Rockies are decrepit. The Twins and the Brewers were not that bad. I mean, both you can make playoff cases for both. Obviously, the Twins right now because they would qualify. The Brewers, if they keep playing this way, and if they it turns out some of the beasts of the National League, this is a long season. Now we're starting to see some lower points. Overall, they're acquitting themselves better. I think maybe the best sign of this is that, though maybe you could make the case this isn't good, and I'm playing a bit of devil's advocate here, that they're not necessarily going to want to sell at the trade deadline now because they might be able to put together a playoff run. But is that necessarily a good thing? Because if you still think there's a cap on the season, is it better we're back to that debate. Is it better to sell off now because you have longer term success or go for it right now? I think there's a better case for the Twins to keep going, considering outside of the Tigers and Yankees, you got a pretty good shot in the American League. National League, I know, like I said, a lot of the teams have been slipping. Dodgers looking almost mediocre of late. Brewers had their way with the Phillies, et cetera, et cetera. But still, that's a heavy league. All in all, though, the basic headline is the Brewers and the Twins are playing better baseball. So when they meet again, should be a fun
I'll be at that game too.
Actually
Saturday
be a pretty fun.
Please, weather gods, be good.
Pretty fun matchup, yes.
Yeah.
So the ghost of Bob Bosold, Bob's still with us, but the ghost of Bob Bosold is looming over you.
Is he?
Well, is he AI Bob at this point? Do we know? Is he like
there might be a better
transition?
version at times.
Say what?
That might be a better version at times.
Yeah. Shank of the day.
My stock riser, I mean, you could go Yelly in that, but I'm going to give this another opportunity to go for the greatest baseball player in the world, and that's Sal Frelick. So you can start to design the plaque for Canton, for Cooperstown. I mean, dude, to me, it should be the all-star for the Brewers. He won't be because he doesn't have the name recognition. Another home run for him. Already career high. Well done. We are the #1 Sal Frelick fan club right here in the world. Dude is almost hitting 300 this year. He has been Mr. Consistent, the most consistent Brewers player all season long. Love the guy. Trying to find an autograph ball to add to the Man Cave collection. So Sal flipping Frelick. Stock riser.
You love yourself some Sal.
I love, I'm glad because I really struggled to find a player to root for in baseball. I really did. I got to get a Frelick jersey now, I think. I said I wasn't, but I think I gotta. And he's not the flashiest player in terms of he's not going to get you 40 home runs or hit 350. I mean, he might hit 350, I guess, but I just love his style of play. And then the other day when he was asked, he's a lefty. How do you approach left-handed pitchers? Got to be willing to die in the box, he says. So, I mean, I just come on now. Love it. Love it. This goes back to over a month ago when they had the World War II veteran, Pearl Harbor survivor, throwing out the first pitch. And Sal had a big hit, and he credited that because he said we have real superheroes in this world, and that's a superhero. He gets it. He understands it. I love his mindset. And he looks like Rocky, Sal Frelick. And he's about the same height as Rocky because Rocky's not tall either. He's only like 5'8". Sal Frelick.
I don't think I've heard Sal Frelick talk, and he probably doesn't because this is such a stereotype. Does he have a Boston accent?
Yeah, a little bit.
Or a little bit of a New England?
Yeah.
That's the better way to put it, because it's the talk the con. Yeah, okay, that's a stereotype, and a lot of people don't have that just because you're from suburban Boston, and he is. But he sounds like he's a New Englander. Has a bit of that vibe about him.
I mean, he played at Boston College.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, I just, God, I love watching that guy play. I love like, his mom must have hated the fact that he was a baseball player. Had to hate it. Because white baseball pants are probably just stained to crap and all that.
Yep.
So, I mean, just like, gosh darn it, little Sal. Now I got to get the OxyClean and try to clean this out.
OxyClean.
And power washer to get all the dirt stains out of this
Billy
thing.
Mays coming in.
So
Salvatore Michael Freeland.
Oh, even better, his name is Salvatore. Yes.
Salvatore.
God.
From Lexington, Mass.
I need to find a Salvatore.
Wait, so Morgan went to college in the Boston metropolitan area. She's probably popped into Lexington at some point. Ask her what she knows of that area.
Okay.
And you know what?
Was it Lexington?
He's from Lexington. I don't know, remember where
The
Emerson
Battle
College
of
is.
Lexington?
Concord,
Lexington and Concord?
You are correct. Where the shot heard around the world happened.
I know my American Revolution history.
You do. Could that be a tie-in to one Sal Frelick if he has a pretty big...
I've been going down some ancestry family trees for some sports history projects. I should look that up now.
By the way, in case you're wondering, like, has that term been used for a prominent baseball player? I don't believe that term was used for this baseball player, but it's kind of obvious because of the three notable baseball athletes from Lexington, Massachusetts. One, Sal Frelick. Two, Mary Daly from the All-American.
Yeah.
The third, it's got a ways for Frelick to go to top this one. Carlton Fisk.
Yeah, not bad company.
I mean, the 75 home run, talk about, and I don't think that one will, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think that was called the shot heard around the world. If ever there were an opportunity to call one that, hello.
Yeah. Yep.
Need I explain? But keep that in your back pocket if Frelick hits a very important home run during his Brewer career.
Well, you know what? Maybe that'll be my next tat. Sal Frelick's face.
Shot heard around.
Yeah, right there.
Shot heard around the world.
Sal Frelick's so awesome. I love that guy. So, all right. Stock faller now.
Oh, I did say that I'm not clowning on the Knicks necessarily because of Thibodeau, but I'll say overall that's a stock faller situation there. I'm not going to go quite as far as LOL Knicks. Those, internet lingo from like the 20 teens, you know what I'm talking about. But that seems to be more of a disaster situation than I was expecting. They seem to be fairly orderly for a while. Like, I'm like, this team's got themselves figured out. Brunson's pretty solid. Towns has his moments. They'd have some weird moments in games, but all in all, they're playing pretty solidly. And then I heard this on the Press Box podcast that the Athletic story came out like as the game was ending of all the background stuff. I'm like, oh, well, wait a minute. Karl Anthony Towns not that popular on the team. And some other, maybe the benefit of the doubt for the Knicks. Folks came here to listen to Knicks analysis because you can't get enough from Stephen A. But the charitable case is that they're figuring out how to tweak the team, get rid of Thibodeau. Maybe they're going to trade off Towns, and they'll be. And this does tie back to the Bucks because the Knicks are a pretty significant opponent right now. If you're a Bucks fan, I think you're hoping that they're blowing themselves up as we speak. Somehow James Dolan will find a way to get involved, and we'll be back to LOL Knicks within a year or two. That could happen. I'd say overall their stock is falling. They probably had. They had some luck too. Tatum getting injured. That helped. I think the Knicks might have won that series anyway, but it very much made it easier for them to get to the conference finals. Side note, it's kind of interesting that both Karl Anthony Towns and Julius Randle, the two biggest players from that Timberwolves Knicks trade, a trade involving two teams that then made their conference finals that same upcoming season, could then both be gotten rid of in some capacity, whether let go or traded after one season.
Yeah.
Weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not bad, just weird how that all goes.
No, yeah, I mean, we kind of, I mean, that's like the 7 degrees of all these NBA trades that we've talked about, the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Pretty
you know,
7
sort of thing.
degrees of 7 second-round draft picks. I know it's a bad pun, but
Mhm.
it's also kind of real, too.
It is. It is.
Raleigh
So-
Massimino's from Lexington, Mass. Wow.
Lexington.
Remember his-
Conqueror. I bet you Sal probably had a relative that fought in the American Revolution just because he's that awesome. He probably was there at the battle, you know, shot her around the world, Lexington Concord and that. I bet you he was.
He's not far enough along in his career where his Wikipedia page has a personal life
No.
section. Not yet. Working on it.
Yeah. So I went down a rabbit hole that I found. I was looking up some projects, stuff that I'm working on right now, and I found somebody with the same last name as me
Mm-hmm.
that played on the 1923 Milwaukee Badgers football team. Played for Newt Rockne at Notre Dame.
Whoa.
So I gotta do some digging. Because I'm really kind of crossing my fingers, like, hey no,
Okay.
hey no, sort of thing. So I gotta do some more digging on that.
Oh, by the way, I am discovering here Sal Frelick, his father went to Pitt, and his grandfather has connections to Greensburg, Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh area.
Okay.
So,
this
might be getting off of the Revolutionary War thing a little bit. I have to do a little more digging into Sal
though.
Frelick's personal life. here.
Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Constitution. Come
Well,
on.
no,
now.
we're on
So,
the
I
other
mean,
side, Pittsburgh.
I know, but I'm saying the
West-
state,
well,
Pennsylvania.
I suppose, yeah.
You know, Pennsylvania was a big part in 1776.
I know, technically, yes. I know there's
Yeah.
the fort. Right.
I mean, that was probably the biggest states, or what them in
Right.
New York. You know, capital issue was Philadelphia. So I mean, Pennsylvania was a hub.
Mm-hmm.
Was a hub. I mean, for crying out loud, you know, a lot of our founding fathers were from there. I love. See, that was everybody. I've got a history minor in college. Everybody's got like their favorite. This might be a bad way of saying it, but like the war they're most interested in.
Mhm.
Is that? I don't know how else to phrase it. Right?
Yeah,
You
there's
know,
there-
like I took a military history class at UW Eau Claire. It
Right.
was awesome.
Yeah.
Mine was always American Revolution. Everybody was like Civil War or World War II.
Yeah.
Mine was American Revolution.
Didn't quite go for the Spanish-American War.
No. HBO series John Adams came out that same time frame. Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic piece of work. If you ever want to watch Jeff Daniels as George Washington in the movie The Crossing from A&E years ago. It was okay.
It's fine.
Okay. It was okay. So off tangents. Yet again here this
Starting
morning.
to sound like a stalker too.
Why?
You
Oh,
know,
you for Sal Frelick?
Sal Frelick. Oh,
But we are the #1 Sal Frelick fan club.
we're the only.
I've
Sal
got to
Frelick?
figure out a way to get a Sal Frelick interview.
Do you have any connections with the Brewers?
Indirectly.
I mean, you
I don't
don't
know if
quite
I
have
can
the
use
Aaron
this one.
Popke connection that you have with the.
Well, I might have a better one. But I don't know if I can play that card yet.
Okay.
It's kind of a card I'm holding in my back pocket
Okay.
right now.
Be careful with it. I mean, you'll
It's
know.
one of those that you hold on for really, really, really good. But Sal Frelick is the best baseball player of all time. So I mean, at what point here do I pull that card? So it's tough. All right, my stock faller. Boy, I don't know where I want to go with this one. I mean, the easy one is Knicks and pointing the fingers at the Knicks and that. I'll say this: my stock faller. I'm starting now to feel a little uncomfortable about Giannis coming back to Milwaukee.
Okay.
Like
so the Giannis
meter
meter
is now trending towards him not coming back.
So if it was,
It has went past 5.
Oh wow!
It has gone past 5.
The needle.
Yep. 10 means he's a lock to be back in Milwaukee. It's 5.2.
See, I thought.
Oh no, 10 means he's gone. I'm sorry.
Right, yeah.
Yes, 10 means he's gone.
So you're at a 5.2.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't quite understand the latest rumor that apparently there's mutual interest with the Raptors. I don't quite understand that
It's an
one.
interesting move if that happens.
Brandon Ingram's over there. I get that. I don't know about RJ Barrett being the centerpiece of this, but I will say my needle is to a 5.2 now. So that's a stock faller for me in my confidence level for Giannis.
Would you buy a Giannis jersey for any team where he were to go? You mentioned the Magic earlier today.
If it's one of those new Magic ones, yes.
Okay. Would you buy a
Raptors Giannis? No.
Yes.
No.
Drake gold Ovo jersey?
No. I'm a Lamar, Kendrick Lamar guy.
Okay.
So
no
Drake.
Okay. Understandable. So does that block out anything Raptors?
Does that block out anything Raptors?
Yeah, so
I
like
would not. No.
So
not even an old school Vince Carter. No.
Oh, okay.
Not even old school T-Mac. No. Damon
Okay.
Stoudemire. No.
Drake that much of
Akeem Olajuwon. Okay, now we're talking maybe.
Well,
So-
now there's not that. Okay, that would be an intro. It happened.
It happened.
I forgot about it, but it's true.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So when will we know about
After the
Giannis?
finals.
Is there a date?
I think we'll know after the finals.
Okay.
Because they're not gonna. That would be needle moving, right? I mean, so they want to keep the attention on the finals and then the draft shortly after. Because I do, if memory serves me correct, when KD left the Thunder to sign with the Warriors, I believe it was July 4th when he wrote that Players Tribune. It was like Independence Day.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe kind of use that as a time frame, end of June, early July-ish. So that'd be something if it was July 4th and we trade him to a different country.
And there's only one country for trading.
So, but I don't know. I don't feel good. I don't feel good right now.
That's unfortunate.
I know. And I hope I'm just reading too much into the tea leaves.
Yeah, Game 7 is June 22nd.
Okay.
It can go as late as June 22nd, obviously.
Right.
Could be earlier. But so you're saying by like June 25th that
I say by July 4th we will know.
Okay.
July 4th we will know the status of one Greek freak.
Could he be spending Canada Day going to Canada?
Possibly. I just like what is Giannis's attraction to Toronto? Team-wise. Is it Brandon Ingram?
Maybe. I mean,
that's why when they said mutual interests, mutual means Giannis is interested in that.
Does he because you got Barnes, because
Barrett would probably be a part of the trade package, RJ Barrett.
Yeah. Quickly, I guess Jacob Poeltl was on that team. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, Jamison Battle's there. Like, hey, it's not that much of a wow. I don't know.
That's where I'm getting at. It's like
Is there something in the organization that he really likes?
Maybe. I don't know. Like, that's to me that if the goal is championship, is Toronto that much closer to Milwaukee right now to winning a championship?
No,
because even like when Kawhi was traded to Toronto, Toronto was closer to a championship at that point than what they are right now, right? I mean, everybody knew that was probably like you're going for it for 1 year, and to their credit, they got it.
Yeah,
they got their championship.
It worked. They got. I mean, it counts. So yeah,
they pulled the Rams. They went all in and they got it. So, but I wouldn't say Toronto is at that point like they were when they traded for Kawhi.
No, I would not. No, Toronto seems. I mean, I'm saying this in a good way. They're kind of irrelevant right now.
Yeah,
and what by that's not a knock. Like I don't see where they're gonna suddenly get better soon. They're also not obviously one of the worst teams where you're like, whoa, what's going on with them? They're just kind of there, which is a little unusual given the traditional competitiveness of the Raptors. So I don't know why Giannis would want that. If his goal is to win a title, I think there are way better options than the Raptors. I'm not going to say he'll never win one. You don't want to go that far, but you've got better teams, I would think.
Let me just throw this out there, then we got to take a break. But like, if it's truly that Giannis, let's say, likes the organization, like how the culture or whatever, what does that say about Milwaukee then? I mean, it doesn't paint the greatest picture, then, does it? If he
It
says
doesn't.
like the culture of Toronto is what really attracted me, like
Well,
franchise-wise, not city-wise,
right?
but
Because I mean, Toronto's it would be a massive market if it were in the United States. I think a lot of us forget just how big is, and not just size, population, but everything that goes into Toronto. It would be like New York, Chicago, Los Angeles. Maybe not quite that big, but close. If it were in America, if it's the organization, maybe see now I'm just wildly guessing. Maybe you spend enough time with an organization, and you don't understand what you've got.
Right.
You
the
can't
whole
see
Aaron Rodgers, now he wishes he could go to an organization like Green Bay, apparently, rumor.
It's sort of, maybe it's like that. And again, I don't know. Maybe that has nothing to do with it. Maybe the personnel around there have evolved enough that it's not quite as favorable to him as it was a few years ago. Like the facilities, by all accounts, are excellent. And the market size, if we're going to go back to that, seems to be something that he's said he likes. So maybe it actually is the personnel. And sometimes you want to be in a place where you like the people, even if it's not the most influential. You like to stay a little smaller, but that's okay, because if that makes your work-life balance work better, good. More power to you to do that, too. You got to ultimately be happy with what you're doing, whatever that means. We're presuming he wants to win another championship, too. Well, okay, maybe that actually is not the most important thing to Giannis. I think it is, but
I think it is, too. And if we find out it's not, then what the heck are we doing here? Like, I mean, the narrative has switched, I think, a little bit about Giannis. Because I have him on a pedestal, like that's the guy I want my kid to look up to.
Well, I think he ends up in a good spot. Now we're getting into player evaluation, which again, that's a subjective thing.
Yeah.
But I think there's two ways that it works. And so far, I think he's following both paths, but there's the third one. The first is he wants to win. Of course, you want someone who prioritizes a championship, winning games, selfless, that sort of stuff. Number two is being a good teammate, not trying to go for the fame. And maybe you're not trying to win as much, but it's kind of what I was talking about before. Like you want something good for your family. You want to be around you want to be in a good chemistry situation. And no, maybe you don't win, but I was able to be a good person and have a good time. I think that's a good model.
I like that. A good time.
I know. Okay, as I was saying that, I'm like, this is going to come out wrong. But literally, I mean, okay, you're like, okay, I'm enjoying my job. Okay, cool. Then there's the third one, and that's I just want to bounce around to wherever I'm top dog. I'm getting the buckets.
Yep.
I need to get paid. Usually, that's the third one. We see plenty of examples of that, and that's the one you don't want. I don't think, I mean, maybe there's some parents that think that's fine, to each their own, I guess, but I would think most of us don't want that.
Right.
So far, Giannis has not shown that at all.
Right. No, I would agree. Really quick, since we're talking NBA, I know we're going a little bit long on this one, but, Knicks thing. If we go college route, Dan Hurley or Jay Wright? Who should the Knicks rather target? Not who do you think is more likely?
I mean, Hurley would be more likely because I think Wright's done.
Yeah. Wright did, though. There was an interview that surfaced a few years ago which said, what is the NBA job you would want? And it was Knicks.
I think Wright would be the better one. I think he's more stable. Now, I don't know how well he translates.
I don't know if Hurley's attitude is right for the NBA.
No. Oh, my gosh. Wow. I think we've had enough Stephen A. takes. Just wait till Dan Hurley gets on that team.
I could see, and I hope, I could see Dan Hurley pulling another Jeff Van Gundy where he's just like riding the leg of another player and, just going ape, what's all out,
My gosh. That would be a disaster. I don't think I want to see that, honestly. I think it would. Yeah, Hurley's more likely.
Did
Wright,
his stock go down a little bit after this year?
Yes.
With the attitude and, kind of his comments here and there.
Yeah,
and all that.
I mean, it's far from tanked because he's established himself as one of the best coaches out there. but it did not help that most times we heard about Dan Hurley this year was
him complaining about something or
just mouthing off at somebody or something else. That was, and then UConn didn't back it up.
Yeah.
So yes, his stock in a broader sense fell, but it can also go right back up again.
Bring back Rick Pitino.
Can we have like the Pitino Hurley off?
Let's pair it all up. Pitino and Calipari duke it out for the head job of the Knicks.
Oh my gosh.
Come on.
Larry Bird's not walking through that door.
Yeah. I would not be surprised if the Knicks try to do like a flashy hire like that. Like, not saying that's who they ultimately get, but would you be surprised if rumors are out there like what the Lakers were last year with Dan Hurley? Like they're trying to get that flashy, hey, let's try to convince Phil Jackson or, bring back Pat Riley. And,
Kelvin Sampson.
Yeah.
Who'd be the guy right now?
Who would be that flashy hire?
It's definitely not Bud.
No. I mean, even Malone to an extent isn't like flashy.
Yeah. I guess, could you try to pull away Brad Stevens? I would be stunned if that happened.
Remember when Phil was over there running it, he wanted to hire Steve Kerr?
That would, wow. Now, okay, I think that would be the wildest one. Well, I mean, the most upending would be
what if Spoelstra went?
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
That's the one. That would be the, oh my gosh, what? And like, not a dramatic one, but dang, and that actually would be a pretty good hire.
Because that goes back to the question I think I asked last week. Has there been a trade for a coach in NBA history?
Probably it's an NBA coach trade.
Because if you're the Knicks, I'm assuming they have a first rounder at the back end. Would you send your first rounder for Spoelstra?
Possibly. Let's see. So in the NBA, Doc Rivers was traded for a first round pick.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Stan Van Gundy was traded for a second round pick in the 07 and 08 drafts.
So Van Gundy was traded to the Magic, right?
Yeah, from the Heat.
From the Heat, that's right.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And that's got to be because wasn't Van Gundy benched for Pat Riley? Because wasn't that the era that Van Gundy was there and then Pat Riley came back to be the head coach?
2007.
Yeah.
So this is 3 years before the decision.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's, 2 years before Spoelstra, because Spoelstra was there.
Yeah.
Already. He just started. But yeah, this has happened, obviously, NFL, we know.
Right.
It's happened in baseball a few times.
Doc. Forgot about that.
Yes, there's been a trade involving that.
All right. I mean, if it costs a first round for Spoelstra, would you do it if you're the Knicks?
Maybe. If it matches the players, too. That's the other part of this. And as great as Spoelstra has been with different types of players.
And he's gone through some major personalities. Jimmy and LeBron and, those
I would like
guys.
to think he can handle that. But is there any freaking way the Heat, and I know Riley seems to be transitioning out, but is there any way that the Heat would allow that? It sounds great for what we're saying, but then are the Heat like, no?
Yeah. I don't know. But
that would be an interesting one.
All right, we got to take a quick break here, so we'll do that and catch up and maybe talk some more baseball coming up after these quick words.
Kasper
This update sponsored by UW Credit Union. For every stage of life, UW Credit Union is here for every you.
Clear your day on June 28th and head to the Brewers game for a Pat Murphy bobblehead giveaway, courtesy of Toyota. Get there early as the first 25,000 fans will take home the Manager of the Year bobble. Grab your seats at brewers.com/giveaways.
Join UW Credit Union at uwcu.org, insured by NCUA.
Come see the Eau Claire Express. This season at Carson Park, watch the Express take the field in their new uniforms and logos and see the all-new WNB Financial video board in the outfield. You can buy your general admission and grandstand tickets, check out the 2025 Eau Claire Express schedule, and see all the summer team promotions at eauclairexpress.com. And get more info at the Eau Claire Express Facebook page. Enjoy summer baseball with the Eau Claire Express.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-498-6548. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-498-6548. That's 800-498-6548. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Rapid radios are the official walkie-talkie of the Dan Patrick Show. You can reach your aging parents anywhere at any time with Rapid Radios push-to-talk devices, providing clear contact nationwide on an LTE network. 100% private, no subscriptions ever. Visit rapidradios.com. I have a limited time offer. Visit rapidradios.com to save up to 60%. Get free shipping from Michigan. Use the promo code RADIO for an extra 5% off. Rapid Radios. King's Hawaiian welcomes you to summer and reminds you sliders are the perfect meal for the summer grilling season. King's Hawaiian rolls and slider buns, so versatile, perfect for whatever you're thinking of grilling up. How about chicken, beef, pork, fish, whatever you're thinking of putting on the grill, King's Hawaiian can turn those into delicious sliders and make you the hero of the backyard. So get ready for summer grilling season. Go to the bakery or deli section of your local grocery store and pick up those irresistible King's Hawaiian rolls and slider buns and enjoy.
Broadcasting live from the TDS Sports Talk 105.1 studios, it's the Dan Kasper Show.
John says we've got a couple podcasts. I actually wrote this down too, John. But I got a couple ideas for podcasts. Top 5. Brandon and I do our top 5 plus.
Yep.
Top 5 beverages you want back. Zima. And as John says, top 5 athletes you forgot played for a team, since I mentioned Olajuwon for the Raptors.
That's a really good one.
I saw a post on Facebook the other day. I didn't realize it was this much of a trade package when Patrick Ewing got sent to the Supersonics. And like Dudley, it was like a 3-team, 4-team trade. Chris Dudley got sent to the Suns. And the Knicks got like Luke Longley, 2 first-round picks, and a couple other players in there too. And I'm like, they got that much for Dudley and Patrick Ewing. I mean, if there's somebody who's a worse free throw shooter than Shaq, it was Chris Dudley.
Chris Dudley. Forgot about him.
Yeah. But I mean, who can forget the Patrick Ewing Orlando Magic run?
Wow. Chris Dudley. So, yeah. Cavs, Nets, Trailblazers just after the 2 NBA Finals runs. Knicks when they had their.
Yep.
I mean, that.
I remember watching him on NBC all the time.
3-time All Ivy League.
He looks like he plays out of Yale too. Yep. I mean, come on. He's like, it's like, oh yeah, that guy's a Dookie. This guy's an Ivy Leaguer.
He ran for governor of Oregon too. I forgot about that.
All right.
He almost won too.
Almost doesn't cut it. Close as only counts in hand shoes and
lost 49 to 48% in the 2010 election.
Horseshoes and hand grenades. That's the only thing I was trying to say. So,
he was apparently in a bar fight with current Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh, but this is back in 1980. Okay. Oh, but wait, this gets better. So it was in 2018. It was reported that Dudley and current Justice Kavanaugh were in a bar fight in September 1985, which involved throwing ice in a drinking glass at a man who allegedly resembled Allie Campbell, lead singer of UB40.
Dudley. Dudley. Well, I mean, let's just say this. Here's the joke. Here's the joke. If his accuracy at throwing a glass was anything like his free throws, that guy was safe.
Well,
so you know.
Through an article published in The Guardian, Campbell wrote that whomever Dudley and Kavanaugh fought was not him, and he was not at the bar that night. So at least we know from UB40's end. Allegedly. It's not there.
Yikes.
That might have been the most awesome story I've learned this morning.
That tops the Zima. That does top Zima.
Chris Dudley fought a future Supreme Court justice over a guy who looked like the lead singer of UB40.
Wow. That is Dudley. So
wow.
All right. So we've got Stanley Cup Finals actually do begin tonight. Game 1. We've got Edmonton taking on the Florida Panthers. As Mark said a little bit earlier, he's going for Edmonton. Because time for a Canadian team to win one. It's been a while. Plus, local product Ty Emberson.
Right.
So
I'm same thing there. I don't really have I'm not anti anyone in this one. I'm more generally pro Edmonton. I mean, if the Panthers win, cool. But if I want the Oilers to win to finally stop that Canadian streak.
Yep.
Gosh, that goes back a long ways.
The Raptors have won an NBA championship more recently than a hockey team has won a Stanley Cup.
Yep. Blue Jays have won
a World Series
by literally the same year, but it is technically more recent. I would. I hope that does change. Heck, an American, correct me if I'm wrong, the Baltimore Stallions, an American team has won the CFL more recently than a Canadian team has won in the Stanley Cup.
Oh, okay. That's really when you put it there.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Wow.
Yikes.
They don't exist anymore.
No.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
Let's fix that.
Right?
I think I'm picking the Oilers especially the way Connor McDavid's playing right now. Oh my gosh.
And how much you use last year's motivation, I would imagine too.
And he won the freaking Conn Smythe last year. I mean, he deserved it, but I think he's so good right now. I'm picking the Oilers. I'll take him in 6.
All right. Well, you're making your pick already. Okay. All right, that's fine.
Might as well get it in now.
Yeah,
next week's going to be a little obvious.
I'm gonna go Edmonton in 6 too. So that's who I'm rooting for, and that's who I think will win as well. So, Brewers again. Reminder: just a couple of hours from now, first pitch about 11:40. It's going to be a DL Hall start, and then probably Quinn Priester after that for the Brewers. So, and then off day tomorrow before they return home to begin a series against the Padres of San Diego. Who your Twins still got the A's, right?
Yes.
They're late game tonight. Then they wrap up that series tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So stay up late, Twin
Out
fans.
in West Sacramento.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So what did I didn't get to watch it because I saw the headline late last night, but I think it was from Awful Announcing. It was about the Twins announcers. Let me see if I can pull it up here because I want to do it justice on how they phrased it. Because we're kind of off the wall here this morning already.
We're not going to top Chris Dudley and a Supreme Court justice in UB40, but
let me see if I can find it. I'm pretty sure it had to have been from last night here. Let me scroll through. I mean, obviously a lot of Tom Thibodeau stuff here because everybody's taking source offs on who actually fired the guy in that, but
right.
It was something about the Twins. Maybe it wasn't Awful Announcing. Maybe it wasn't them. But anyways, it was something about the Twins announcers. I think they were referring to maybe turning it into a drinking game by trying not to say Oakland. Because they kept trying to stop, not saying Oakland, essentially. I would probably fail at that one.
I probably would as well. Yeah, I'm not finding anything on that, but that makes sense given how easy it is. I mean, heck, we're still saying the San Diego Chargers decade after they left.
So this was actually from Friday. I found it on a Twitter account called Last Dive Bar. Twins announcers about to get drunk trying to avoid saying Oakland. a warning track that'll drive anyone
Yeah.
to drink. So
that is a tough one. I mean,
yeah.
it
Okay,
just
let me see if I can play this. Don't sing. Twins announcer Corey Provis, who we know, former Brewer, demonstrating the bane of every MLB announcer's existence this season. Try not to say Oakland when playing the A's. So this is just a 27-second clip here.
The former
There you go. Yeah. So yeah, tricky game.
Especially when you have to say it so frequently.
Yep.
You're paying attention to a whole lot of other stuff at the same time. You're trying to call the game.
Right.
As well. It's like locked in to say Oakland. So yeah, that's going to be
a particularly tough one.
Yes.
Wait till they become the Vegas A's.
All right, we got to take our final break, and then we'll do the rest of our picks, even though we just did Stanley Cup. So we got some baseball games to pick here. NBA Finals, by the way, that starts tomorrow. Because I know you're all geeked up about Pacers Thunder. Everybody's geeked up about that.
Come on, Bucks fans. You know you want the Pacers, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're listening to the Dan Kasper Show.
Warmer weather means more time on your feet. Make sure every step feels great. Whether it's running, walking, or working, proper support matters. The Shoe Doctor carries a wide selection of supportive shoes, custom insoles, and footwear solutions designed for comfort and performance. Stop in to find the right fit for spring and summer activities. The Shoe Doctor, helping feet feel their best season after season. Visit the Shoe Doctor today at 2321 East Claremont Avenue or online at shoedoctoreauklar.com, where comfort starts.
Plug into powerful savings with Zero Wire products at Menards. Zero Wire is an American-owned leading manufacturer of building wire for residential, commercial, and industrial applications. Save time with Menards' convenient pre-cut lengths of wire and cable in stock for all of your indoor and outdoor projects. Hurry in now and save big money on Zero Wire at Menards. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
The big focus in America today is on your health, and more people are looking beyond pills and steroids and surgery. Hi, John Murphy here for QC Kinetics. At QC Kinetics, they've been on the cutting edge of this medical revolution since 2018. Using regenerative medicine, they have helped tens of thousands of people get lasting joint pain relief using natural treatments that harness your body's own healing power. The truth is, regenerative medicine used to be an alternative treatment, but now it's mainstream, and QC Kinetics is the nation's leader. Their well-respected protocols include potent and powerful cellular-level treatments to revitalize and restore damaged joint tissue. They're not masking the pain. They're going after the very source of it. Yes, you can say goodbye to that chronic pain and live your best life. Learn more about this revolutionary treatment and get a free consultation. Call QC Kinetics now, 715-443-4440, 715-443-4440. That's 715-443-4440.
LPI in Eau Claire is looking for a field service technician, someone who's mechanically inclined, loves problem solving, and enjoys traveling across the country.
Another thing I really love about working here is the coworkers. They're great.
This role offers competitive pay, a 35% travel premium, and you can even keep your airline and hotel rewards. If you're looking for a company where you're more than just a number, where people know your name, visit plankenterprises.com/careers. Apply today at plankenterprises.com/careers.
Tires matter. They're the only part of your vehicle that touches the road. Tread confidently with new tires from Tire Rack. Whether you're looking for expert recommendations or know exactly what you want, Tire Rack makes it really easy. Fast, free shipping, free road hazard protection, convenient installation options, and the best selection of Falken tires. Go to TireRack.com/Dan, see their Falken test results, tire ratings, and reviews, and be sure to check out all the special offers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
Rapid radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
Where hot takes and hilarious moments collide. The Dan Kasper Show. Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
All right, let's wrap it up here with some picks to finish up this nonsense from this morning here. So, still haven't seen anything about Brandon Woodruff. That could have been a stock follow too. That guy's got to be the unluckiest dude in the world right now at this point. So
I am so hoping the X-rays are negative.
Well, the X-rays were negative.
They were?
Yeah.
Because I thought they were going to happen today.
More
Okay.
tests, probably like MRI and that.
Okay, still.
for
Well, I
that,
hope
so-
that's good.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, God, seriously? Like, yeah, never mind.
I spent an inordinate amount of time looking last night to find out if there was some update. Like, oh, it really wasn't that bad. Like, did one of the Twitter doctors chiming in to say, actually, I was hoping. Like, come on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Do they do it today? Do the Rockies officially get on a winning streak according to Lou Brown? A three-game winning streak.
More than 2 games.
Yep.
Rockies defeated the I'm going to say no.
Yeah, Marlins win it today. So let's go Angels, Red Sox.
Red Sox, what the heck is going on with that
Yeah.
team? They are I thought they were going to be better than this overall, and they're in a rough spot. I will take the Sox in this one.
I'll go Sox too. Let's do Astros, Pittsburgh Pirates.
I'll go with the Stros.
I'll go Stros too. Cubbies, Nationals.
Number 1 team in the National League right now. The
Yeah,
Chicago
you're welcome
Cubs.
because we took down the Phillies.
Yeah,
So
okay, so that means now your hated Cubbies are now the
Yeah.
number 1 team. I'm gonna
we
go.
know they can't get past the first round with Craig Counsell leading anyway. So
Still got to prove it in October.
ha.
I'll take the Nats. I think Mackenzie Gore gets off the schneid a little bit.
I'll go Cubs. Let's go Guardians, Yankees.
Take the Yanks.
Yep, same here. Phillies, Blue Jays.
I'm gonna go Phils.
Phillies.
Hello.
Excuse me. Yeah. Let's go. Where are we at? Arizona, Atlanta? Chris
Yeah.
Sale? Yeah.
Side note: Diamondbacks dead in the water with the Corbin Burns injury.
Yep.
Okay.
They were stinking before that anyway. So, yep.
Yeah. I'll take the Braves.
I'm going to go Braves too.
Mhm.
Texas, Tampa.
I'll go Rays.
I'm going to go Tampa too. Detroit, Chicago White Sox.
I'll take the Tigers.
You get Tampa too, right? Tampa?
Yeah.
Too? Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right. I'm on a Kiffin. The Tigers too. So. I'm going to go Tigers too. Kansas City, St. Louis.
Loved last night when the Royals broke out the Powder Blues on the road and kind of did a modern recreation of the 85 I-80 series.
Yeah. The Battle of Missouri.
Yes. That was the first World Series I really remember like kind of following as a kid, where I was like, I'm an active baseball fan. I will take the Royals in this one.
I'm going to go Royals too. So Baltimore, Seattle.
Mariners.
Let's go Padres, Giants.
Take the Pods.
Padres. Mets, Dodgers.
I'll go with the Dodgers.
I'll go Dodgers too. Twinnies, the formerly known Oakland Athletics.
Drink.
I said formerly.
But you still said Oakland.
Formally.
You said the term. You could have said like the city across the bay from San Francisco. Would have been better. I'll take Athletics in this one.
I'll go Twins. And then Brewers, Reds.
No. I'll take the Brewers to win this one.
You thought about that way too
I did,
much.
yeah. I was like, Abbott's pretty good, but I think the Brewers pull this one off later.
I'm going to go Brewers too. So back to a new winning streak.
Mm-hmm.
Back to a new one. So, all right, those are our picks. But since you're not here for tomorrow, who are you picking for the NBA Finals?
Thunder. I'm going to go. I'll go 5. I think
Good. I'm glad you didn't say 6 because I feel like that's just the easy pick for every best of 7.
Because even a 5-game series is like, basically you think it's over. There's just one game the other team's going to get.
Mm-hmm.
But 7 is like complete toss-up barn burner. So 6 is like that. You're right. I hadn't thought of it that way, but 6 is the safe one.
It's the safe one.
I think the Pacers are too ingenious to be swept, but the Thunder are so good. They're going to figure out whatever Indiana has.
I think the Thunder know. They're on a mission, right? I mean, it's fair to say they're on a mission, and they were the best team from beginning, and it will be from the end.
Yep.
And I can root for a team like the Thunder because I'll say this: they built it the right way.
They did.
They built it the right way. Drafts, smart trades. Nobody knew who Shai Gilgeous-Alexander really was until when he got traded with the Paul George trade. Thunder have done it, I think, the way that we like to see in sports, and not just quote unquote buying.
I think the super team era is, at least that super team era is done. Now,
and you could say the same about the Pacers too.
Yeah,
and how they've kind of. Yes, they acquired Pascal Siakam and such, but it's not like, they acquired KD.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
What do you think about the Kevin Durant to Timberwolves chatter of the past few days?
Well, I should be asking you because
I know.
Timberwolves fan.
I know. I think I like it in the sense of it takes away defensive focus on Anthony Edwards. The team needs to be rejiggered in a way. And I think we've seen their ceiling. There are too many times that a lot can go wrong, and when it all goes wrong at the same time, they look like a terrible team. Usually doesn't happen, but it happens too much. More so than an NBA Finals contender should have. So having Durant, my concern is Durant gets injured and misses like 90% of the season.
Yeah.
But if he's healthy, then Edwards hopefully doesn't get as frustrated. Now, look, he's got to get the frustration thing out of the way anyway. But that helps their offensive options. So I'm not like all in on KD, but if it happens, I would generally favor it. As a non-Timberwolves fan, do you think it's a right move for them?
I think it is, because I think your window is now, and you got to do something to win. You are in a Western Conference that is tougher to get to than the Eastern Conference. So I think, yes, your window is now where you have to be a little bit more aggressive in that department.
Take advantage of it, especially as long as Anthony Edwards is not making any threats to leave.
Right. And kind of getting cheapish with contract.
Yeah.
Right?
The apron thing would be difficult, but it's I was reading a story on it that it's doable. Would be creative, but they can pull it off if this comes to fruition with Phoenix.
Yep. So I think it would be. It seems like T-Wolves or maybe Rockets for KD. So.
Those are the
if
two.
You're KD, which one would you rather go to?
That's a good question.
Because I feel like Rockets he'd probably still be the man.
He would be, but you could attach yourself to Ant and do like the trade off to the next generation thing in Minnesota.
Yep.
And there's been prior interest with the Timberwolves.
Yep.
There's something there, I think, more substantive.
Yep. I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree. All right. We only got about 30 seconds left. So again, reminder, Brewers game coverage is going to begin at about 11:05 later on this morning. So just a little over 2 hours from now. So, and then first pitch around 11:40. You can check that out, 105.1 FM and 790 AM. So Express 2, by the way, still on the road for tonight. They're going to be taking on the Loggers of La Crosse. And then they're on the road again tomorrow, where they'll be taking on Rochester, then back home at Carson Park Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this weekend. So there you go. Shot clock. Perfect timing.
Awesome.
DP Danitz are up next. Have yourself a good rest of your Wednesday. Brandon Berg will be joining us tomorrow because he's got state track and field on Friday. So Brandon will be in tomorrow, and we'll catch up with him and hopefully be talking about another series with the Brewers and do some local sports roundup with him. Have a good rest of your day. 6 a.m. tomorrow, same place, same time. See you then.
You're listening to the Dan Patrick Show on WAYY Eau Claire.